Should probably turn off my phone. Okay, hold on. Oh, there it goes.
Oh, I did get a hit, man.
There you go. Okay. What am I doing? Ben left. He's done. What are you doing? Oh, he's gotta grab his little notebook, his little mini notes. I can already hear a kid being like, "Meh, meh, meh. What are we gonna do?"
That's cool. What up?
Yeah, what's up? Are you still, how was the visit?
Good. It was short. They both worked the whole friggin' time. I mean,
Well, that's not a visit.
Yeah, what?
right.
point in
I'm
that?
not sure what the. I mean, it's great to see them, obviously, but
They just worked at your house, huh?
yeah,
Lame.
Losers.
yeah. But whatever. Happy to have
Excuse
them.
How long were they there for?
What was it? I came in Thursday morning till Sunday morning, so it was only
Oh, so pretty short still.
yeah.
Ben, do you have
But
the
I-
pictures?
Nope.
Grab those and then we can start.
Sorry.
Whoa. You should have heard Ben earlier today.
Full of gas.
Living that life.
It was like that for 45 minutes.
Hot air balloon.
Believe it. Yeah. So I feel like that's all I have. I'm just full of air all the time.
Blow
I don't
me
know.
up.
Yeah. I don't get it.
Well, we just took family pictures in Bay City.
Ooh.
So we literally just drove back and like Ben had to do a work thing. And
Oh,
it was
no.
like, go to bed. So we're...
Yeah.
Now I need to like
What's
calm
new?
down a little bit.
Hey, Ben, we need your help. When are you going to be back?
We were gone
In
for like
20
not
minutes.
even an hour.
Are you
Like,
done with that nonsense? You're done with the bad stuff, right?
I am
the
not
real
going
bad
into work for,
Yeah, it's-
multiple hours a day.
It's not
That's
the like
good.
12-hour night
yeah.
shift.
I
stuff.
am essentially the off-hour coverage, though, so...
That's good. Got something.
This music.
Some kind of change. What's the name of this? Like something beat?
Feeding the ducks.
Feeding the
Ducks. That's what it is. Yeah. I almost had it.
Yeah,
Close enough.
You tried. I've never done a live stream with Windows 11.
What's the difference?
Hashtag
know.
Windows 11. Should
The
we just-
background of the photo app is dark in color instead of light.
It's more of a
Maybe that's good.
presentation. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Share
have Windows
screen.
11
You ready
yet.
to go?
Windows. Share this.
Oh man,
There's a big guy.
God,
Oh,
man.
I didn't get the starting picture.
I'll save this, but
Well, we
I
can
watched
just
it-
start if you want to then say it.
watch this movie on Monday. I don't remember anything about this movie. This is
Well,
so forgettable.
It pretty much just like the same thing happens, just in 25 different locations, right?
Yeah.
They get somewhere it happens. They get somewhere it happens. They get somewhere
It
it
Yeah.
happens.
So get somewhere.
And then
it
it's like
happens.
here's the bit where the plane can't take off. First time, second
Oh,
time, third
yeah.
time.
time.
Every
Now it's a
single
boat.
time.
Fourth time it's a boat. Right?
Right.
That's the twist.
It's a boat. It's a truck. It's a this. It's a yeah.
I
Well,
I don't know
we took
how-
2 days because I knew it was long, but I did not realize this movie was
didn't
2
realize it was
hours
that
and
long.
40 minutes.
It's like one of the longest movies ever made, I think.
yeah.
I'm pretty
Well,
sure.
Do you want to
Like-
take that off then?
I really like the Batman. And that
We
movie's
still haven't
seen it.
seen
You
it
still haven't
yet.
seen it? That movie's
We haven't had
super
time.
long, but boy, it earns
it's-
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the same as like Lord of the Rings. You're like, no,
Yeah.
it can keep going. I'm like listening. This
Yeah.
one was like, when will it end?
All right. Let's get started for the first D list in a long time. So, welcome to everybody who's tuned in the chat. Thanks for joining and tuning in. We got a couple of comments already. Who's ready for a literal disaster? I don't know if that refers to our return to D list
Probably
movie
just
reviews,
Yeah.
or
That's true.
yeah, exactly, or this movie. So speaking of disasters, let me kick off the audio version of the show, and we're going to get right into it. So hello and welcome to another Date Night D-List movie review, movie walkthrough, movie review. Tonight we're going to be talking about the 2009 movie 2012. 2012 referring to the...
Did it come out in 2009?
2009, yes.
Wow. Okay. All right.
I know.
Could you lay some hot details on us? Oh, you've
Do
provided
you
them
want
for
to
me
do
here.
the IMDb?
All
That's
right,
your
so
thing.
here we go. A frustrated writer struggles to keep his family alive when a series of global catastrophes threatens to annihilate mankind.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
I don't think we need to even mention he's a writer, but
Right. Who he is largely irrelevant.
yeah,
Just person. Main
Yeah.
character
From-
one.
just John Cusack.
John
Yeah.
Cusack.
So-
Right, isn't that his name in the movie, John Cusack?
I think it is.
It's
I don't know.
Jackson.
He
It's
has a very
literally-
he has like an action hero name. It's like Jackson.
Yeah, I don't know what
Power.
his
It
last
is.
name
It's Jackson something. You're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
This is from the director of
Yeah.
Day After Tomorrow, Stargate, a lot of Stargate episodes, and the movie.
I don't
Or
know
just
about the
the
movie.
movie?
I think it's the show.
Independence Day, and
Yes.
notably Moonfall, which came out to much disaster recently.
Just
and perhaps
recently, yeah.
should be a future D-list movie if we want to stick to the theme.
It's probably like 8 hours long.
Now, this came out in 2009 when disaster movies were hot, apparently,
But
because
they still come out. I'm so
They do, yeah.
they
Yeah,
do still
sorry.
come out,
I'm
but
sorry.
now nobody watches them. Moonfall did terrible,
But they
and it's
keep
the
coming
exact
out.
same movie.
somebody
Well-
keeps greenlighting these, so they
I-
must recover some kind of I don't know.
They made money at some point. This movie made $500 million at the box office.
What?
It
Yeah,
made
I
$500
know.
million.
It made?
It
wow.
That was the profit.
But the
Oh my
rating on it
gosh.
is like 3 out of 10 stars. Like nobody
Well,
actually
has it
enjoys
aged well? No, it has not.
Is it bad because it aged poorly? No.
No.
I think it's just bad.
It's bad.
It's just bad.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter when it came out.
I think there's certain little things about it though that just wouldn't fly today that are sort of like off-putting. Like all the people like, maybe this was like, it's funny, maybe this was like a PG-13 or something when it came out. It couldn't possibly have been a rated R, but when we pulled it
No.
up on Amazon, it's rated 16 plus.
What does that mean?
And I don't know
Yeah,
why.
which
Maybe
is
it's because there's a lot of people that you see just get like killed.
That is
oh,
true.
I mean,
It
billions
is
of people
up
die in this
close.
movie.
Like
There's
showing them dying.
Yeah, like up close
they
getting like
do. They're
just
they're like
destroyed.
jumping out of buildings that are falling
Yeah.
down and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
That
I
is
guess I
true.
didn't think about that. Huh.
that is true. Well, you ready to get started?
Let's get this show on the road.
Okay.
I have requested
Pains me.
Emily to cut as much as possible because this movie is 3 hours long.
So
And it-
I tried to cut
so
a
long.
bunch. Like there's some little pieces, but this movie's also all over the place. It is like we're in Washington, we're in India, we're in China, we're in Washington, we're in India. It keeps flashing around where you have to kind of explain really quick just what's going on. So I tried to cut stuff though.
All right. I don't say anything yet.
Okay. So it starts off in 2009 in India, and they're at the Institute of Astrophysics.
Modern day, 2009.
So the main guy, who you can show his picture if you want, Adrian, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's his name? I'm like, did I make that up? So
Is
Adrian's
that his
visiting,
name? Wow.
Yeah, is visiting his I don't know, Indian friend
This
who's
guy.
also a astrophysic guy. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, 2 days ago, the sun had an eruption. It caused a physical reaction, which Adrian right away is like, that's not possible.
Yeah. What
The
are they
neut-
called?
always stuff like that.
Neutrinos.
Yeah, the neutrinos were
Yeah.
caused. They were physically interfering with matter. That
and
can't
so
happen.
they're making
Damn.
the Earth core into a microwave, and so they open up a
What
tube
are we
that
gonna
goes down
do?
6,000 feet, and it's like neon green and bubbling.
They
and
they
it's
go.
like-
This is the first movie I took notes on. They go down in an elevator,
Oh, man.
11,000 feet. So
Yeah.
they go 2 miles down into the earth in a elevator that's about 4 by 6 feet wide, and it's
Yeah,
the
it's
most
a-
rickety looking thing I've ever seen.
It's a
It probably
janky
took
little
them
thing.
6 hours to go down that elevator. That was my first What is happening here?
I am experiencing some technical difficulties with my ability to share photos.
Oh,
I
no.
apologize.
Probably the neutrinos.
It's definitely the neutrinos. Here's what yeah, you're right. Like, if they go down a rickety elevator, which they say is what, 6,000, 11,000?
No,
11,000
11,000
feet.
feet. The water tank goes down
And
another
then they go down
6,000 feet.
another mile. They go down
Yeah.
another 6,000
Right.
feet.
And they're like, it's so hot down here. And then they walk through a door, and there's like a server room. And it's
Yeah,
like, well,
which,
none of those
like-
electronics are going to be very happy about that heat. Like, shouldn't
Well,
they be upstairs?
I
And
think
like,
he says it's like, oh, we're just working, and it's 120 degrees in this
Yeah,
room.
which I'm like, nothing would be like what that.
Yeah.
I don't.
And then yes, their actual like measurement thing it goes 6,000 feet deep.
Yeah.
What I don't understand is how do they have a 6,000 foot deep water tank, and how did they get it
Right.
down there?
Right.
I
A
don't know.
mile long. It's maybe 10 foot across, 10
And
foot
it's
diameter.
in another-
6,000 foot tank. It's not in like a. It didn't look like it was in a sort of like an underground.
No, it's not
Tunnel
a
or
natural
something.
No,
thing.
it was
They
like a little
somehow
well.
got built. Apparently, you could never get it down there. They built underground a 6,000 feet long tank.
Mm-hmm.
Underground,
they
and then
do.
when they open it up, it's filled up all the way to the tippy top.
It's
Yeah, it is
boiling.
to the tippy
Yeah.
top, and it's a boiling.
Like,
So then we flash
Think
over.
about that.
But we flash over to Washington
Don't
D.C.
think about it. Yeah.
And then Adrian essentially goes there, shows this top government guy. I don't know his name, but he's in throughout the
what
movie.
is he from? What is that guy from? The government guy.
Is it the sort of heavy guy who is
Yeah.
Yeah.
a recurring character?
the Sega
I don't know.
Jowls?
Yeah.
But he
What is he from?
He's in
shut up
lots
for
of
a
stuff.
second.
I feel like he's actually probably in this director's movies. Like, I need a senator. You're
Right.
my
So
senator.
he's an
You're
important.
my representative.
yeah.
You're my
Mhm.
government stooge. Yeah. That's definitely what he is.
But Adrian shows him like some papers. The guy does the like he shuffles through, and then he's like, "Get your suit on. We're going to see the president," like that sort of thing. So some shit's crazy.
Adrian interrupts him at some sort of like gala event. And
Yeah.
we need to cruise through it because this movie's way too damn long and none of it matters. So
then it's 2010. We're in Tibet. And they are asking people to relocate. They're asking who can read, who can write, who can weld, who can like do all these certain jobs.
right. Yeah.
So you kind of get a little hint that they're doing something big. Then sirens go off. The mountains like blow up behind them because they're going to start a big project. But you don't know what it is yet. But it's the big boats that they're essentially building.
Don't spoil it.
Oh, is that what it
Spoilers.
was?
Yes.
I did not make that connection at all.
I didn't make it at
because
first
they're-
either.
It's 2 hours and 30 minutes away from each other before the payoff ever gets there.
Yeah, they're building
It
a
is-
dam in
Is
that
that what
area.
they
Yeah.
say? Yeah.
Is that
And
what
they're
it
like,
is? Okay.
It's really the secret hangar for the boats.
Ryan's
boat
got
hangar.
it. It's Oliver Platt is the generic
Okay.
senator slash.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's in everything.
I feel like he's made. Yeah, you've seen him in everything.
Chicago Justice, Chicago Fire, Chicago PD. He's in all 3 of those shows.
Can I just say, when they do the meeting of the minds, the heads of state, you've got actor Barack Obama, U.S. president. You've got
It's Danny Glover.
Yeah.
right.
So to
The-
say
what I'm
he's
s-
Barack Obama is not
What
correct. But
what I'm
yes.
finding, what I found is that the fake heads of state in this room at the G8 summit
Yeah.
were very accurate to the actual
real-
heads
Pretty
of
on-
state.
Yeah, they were trying
probably
to-
The German lady looks just like the real
what's her
German
name?
lady.
Merkel. Yeah.
Yeah, Merkel. The Russian guy
I
was a
wasn't
little
thinking about that.
Putin-esque.
Okay.
You know, the
Nice.
French guy was definitely very French-looking.
So then we jump over to 2011. So at first it's like boom, scene, boom, scene. So now 2011,
boom.
Yeah.
they're
it
selling
clips
tickets.
pretty quick. Yeah.
They're selling tickets to people for a seat. Once again, you don't quite know what they're doing yet.
Billion.
$1
Man,
billion
I did not
per
put
person.
any of this together.
See, it's very confusing at first. And they're also doing things like replacing real paintings with fake ones or packing up the real
That's
ones. So
right,
you can
yep.
tell like the government secretly
The
kind of
wheels are in
prepping.
motion. The plan is coming together.
Things are
Yeah,
happening.
right.
But in the real world, nobody fucking knows. Like,
Oh,
Nobody knows.
With the painting thing, excellent actor Tandy Newton is there, and they switched the Mona Lisa, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't see Tandy Newton for about an hour and a half after that. Like, I wonder how they shot this movie, because she's well, I guess it was 2009. She wasn't a big deal. She's in Westworld now.
Right.
Now she's
I
in.
think,
Well, that's
but-
what Ben said. He was like, "Isn't that?" Ben kept saying, "She's a robot. Don't trust
Don't
her."
get close to her. She's a killer robot. You
Yeah.
have no idea what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
She looks super, like, young, or maybe her roles were this.
She
at
played
first.
like almost like a, she like calls the president daddy.
I know, and I was like,
Oh,
"Can you
does
stop
she?
doing
God.
that?" Yeah,
Don't
I'm
do
like,
that.
let's not.
Especially when she's such a
Daddy.
badass in Westworld. Like
Daddy.
I see her as such
Yeah.
like a strong character. So to see her be like a
I've never seen it. I need to watch
Young-
it.
oh, you've never seen Westworld? Okay, this isn't about
No.
Westworld, but
No.
go at least watch the first two.
The first
seasons.
2 seasons are good.
First
we
two?
stopped at
I can
the
do
third.
that. I can
Especially
do
the
2
first
seasons.
one. Holy smokes!
She is a
Yeah.
strong character in that, and then this one, she's like, "Daddy, I don't get it," and she's talking all light and like feathery,
You're
and
like,
yeah, it was
Huh.
weird.
Yeah, the first season with Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
Calm down.
It's good stuff.
Then we jump to 2012. So this is when we meet Jackson. So picture number 2, which is John Cusack.
Jackson Cusack
He's
is his name in the
sleeping
movie.
on his couch. He bursts
What
awake
is
and
his
he's
last
late.
name? Jackson.
I don't know what it
it's so
is.
Cusack.
stupid.
Jackson
Hold
Cusack.
on. Jackson Cusack. 2012. John Cusack plays
What is it?
Jackson Curtis.
Yeah,
Wow,
that is a
two
like.
first names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how you know.
So he's asleep. He bursts awake. He's late.
Jack Ryan.
He knocks over.
Right.
Stop talking. This is gonna take 4 hours because of you.
So sorry.
Like you were the one that was like,
moving
cut
at a
out
good pace.
everything.
clipping.
We're cooking. We're
We're
cooking.
shut
up
We're
for
like
a
30 minutes in
second.
already.
We're not. I'm on point number 4 of like.
Oh my gosh.
He is asleep. He knocks over a bunch of books when he's trying to leave, and that's when you figure out
We're
he's
never
an
gonna get there.
author.
He's a big
Okay.
dork. Yeah.
His car won't start, and he's like on the phone being like, "I'm on the freeway." So then he hops in like a limo, so you find out he's a driver.
The limo thing didn't make sense until, and I made a note of it.
I didn't get it
42
either.
minutes later, he just has a limo.
I
And then
also
he
was like, he
drives
just
the
has 2
limo.
cars. I didn't
Right.
understand the whole like, I'll just hop in my other car,
I'll just get in my limo, which I also have.
right?
Right, it wasn't explained at all, right? His
Yeah.
Jeep doesn't start and I'm like, "Oh no, what's he going to do?" He
I'll
goes
just get
out
my
on the
limo.
street and
Fully
starts up his
functioning
other
limo.
vehicle and it's a limo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to pick up his kids. So then that's when you see there's a crack in the road in California. So you're kind of like, oh, it's beginning. Like little things are happening around town.
Did we
Okay.
explain that the neutrino thing means the Earth's core is heating up,
Yeah.
which is creating shifts in the plates?
Which they
In the
like kind of
crust.
say, but
I just, in case
They-
it was unclear to the
Yeah.
listeners, that's the source of the distress here.
And I don't think that the viewers really learn this until it is explained
Much
to
later.
somebody in the movie. Yeah, that
Right.
the
Mm-hmm.
hot Earth core is going to melt the
The mantle, I think, is what it's called, right?
Yeah,
The-
right.
is
Which they call
directly
the
below us.
concrete of the Earth or something that keeps the plates
Yeah.
from shifting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And so, in theory, the entire crust of the Earth, we'll get there, is like freewheeling around the core
Yeah,
of the Earth.
perfect.
Like, it's just insane the
It
rate
does
at
get
which it's
pretty
moving
insane.
later. Well, we'll get there. We'll talk about it.
It reminds me of, those like things where it's a bunch of rings,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
and they're all spinning in different directions. That's the Earth, and
Yep.
it's multiple core layers.
Yeah.
if you want, you can show pictures 3 and 4 because this is just where we meet his ex-wife. So you find out like he has his ex-wife and kids.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And then she is dating.
Gordon.
She's dating
Man,
Gordon,
The
who's like
Yeah.
the
hero,
stepfather.
the actual hero of this movie,
Yes.
the
Right.
stepdad.
So here's the wife and kids. This picture's later, but like the
Yeah.
only one I could find. And then we meet Gordon too,
Who's
who's
G baby?
Gordon, my
Are you gonna show
man.
Gordon?
Yeah.
I'm gonna,
Oh, you
I'm
have
gonna
to
show
keep going
Gordon.
back and forth every time.
Yeah, this Windows 11 Photos app is not. It's not
So,
working with me here.
Yeah,
During,
this
look
is
at
the
Gordon.
real hero.
That's
There he is in the Doritos aisle too. Right after he gets handsy with his.
Hold on, we're
Are they
not there
married?
yet. No.
Yeah, they're married.
Are they married?
Yeah,
They must be married because he
Yeah.
said we should have a kid.
yeah.
Okay, you're right.
It's her.
I
it's
was
her
thinking for some
husband.
reason they weren't married because she always
Yeah.
seemed kind of like, I don't know, like I kind of like him.
I feel like she's just. That's just who she is. The whole movie. It's
Okay.
like, man, maybe I shouldn't have divorced Jack
Yeah.
Sparrow or whatever his name is.
Right.
Yeah.
Jackson 5.
During this time,
Yeah.
there's a bunch of scenes. You see little things happening. There's waves, rough water, small earthquakes.
Yeah.
And anyone who starts talking about it, like saying, hey, we switched the paintings, hey, I heard this or that, they end up dying.
Yeah.
Once again, didn't understand until way later. Because
Oh, they're taking him out.
the guy who switched the painting with the president's daughter calls and he's like, I'm going to do a press conference. I'm going to tell everyone what's happening. And then his like car blows up on the
That's
highway.
right. But why? Do they ever resolve that?
They later say that like they didn't want it to get out because it'd be like mass chaos.
I totally forgot about that.
And they say
Everything
it for,
about
like,
this
10
movie,
seconds
I
later.
forget.
So
Yeah.
I
The-
just thought he randomly like I thought there was something else going on.
I kind of the one thing I actually like about this movie for whatever reason is they don't explain anything at all.
Nope.
That's
They
true.
just keep
They just
showing
go.
scenes.
Just
it
keep
just
going.
It just keeps going. There's a lot going on in the background with like government conspiracies and cover-ups and murders
right.
and all kinds of stuff.
Right.
And they never like sit down and like tell you that that's what's going on. They just expect you to figure it out. And
Yeah.
I kind of like that about
I'll give
it.
them
Like
that. Yeah, that's fair.
they're like,
Yeah.
you know what? You guys can
Well-
figure this out.
Well, especially given the length, I don't need 15 minutes of exposition halfway through this movie, right? It's not that
Right.
deep.
Oh yeah.
It's not that. And then they don't have to come up with an actual storyline for what they're doing. Just go nuts.
I'm gonna leave Joe's comment on the screen the whole
Yeah.
time here.
Yeah.
Divorced dad saves the world.
That's what
And gets
the
back with his
IMDb
ex-wife.
should have been.
Yeah.
His kids want him back.
Only after. Yeah, well,
well,
we'll get there. We'll get there.
After Gordon
So-
gets chewed up.
Jackson's gonna take the kids camping in Yellowstone, which I'm like, that's really effing
Which is
far away.
right next to San Bernardino or wherever the heck they live.
Well, right, like you're in California.
Drives
There's
the limo for
gotta be places.
16 hours.
Yes.
Yeah.
What the hell? During this time, then it keeps cutting back to the White House, and they're like, "We need the news on Yellowstone." Apparently, there's a big thing about to happen in
That's right.
Yellowstone, which of
gonna
course is where
blow.
he's going. So the kids and the dad are in Yellowstone. This is so annoying. There's a giant fence up that's like, "Do not enter," government, blah blah blah. Do
Yep.
not enter. All this like yellow tape, like everything that you would see to not cross. And he's like, "Should we hop the fence?" Like instantly. They've been there for 10 minutes.
Where's our campsite? Let's go in.
Yeah.
Right. I kind of
sure
like
we'll
how
be
he
able
did
to
it
just-
though. The kids were like, "Oh, I guess we got to stop," and he like hits the girl's hat over, and he's like, "Got to get your hat."
Oh god, that's
Like,
like something you would
that-
do.
yeah.
So annoying.
I also like on the limo drive there, like the son in the back. He first of all he's on a PSP, and he's like
Ooh.
eye rolling the whole time,
Oh,
like
yeah.
playing
Yeah.
his.
Yeah.
I was like, "Look at that PSP!
Look at that.
Look at that."
So there's a lake.
Well, this was a Sony movie, so
There's
kids
yeah,
playing a PSP.
Vio laptops.
Everybody's got
abound.
Vile laptops.
Yeah.
So they go into an area where there was a lake, but now there isn't. There's like a dead animal in the middle of it,
There's-
all taped off.
He just parades his kids past reindeer or caribou, I should say, that have
That are,
been
like-
boiled
like
alive.
Right.
they're like
In this
split
lake.
open. Yeah.
You could have
Yeah.
smelt them from halfway
Miles
across
and
that.
he's like, huh,
Dry
let's
lake.
check this out. There's
Oh,
like
that's weird.
scientific gear in the middle.
Right.
And
They're,
he's like, should we
in a
walk
bo-
around?
Bog of
The last
animal
thing I-
carcasses and stuff.
The
So-
last
oh,
thing
there
I would
used to be
ever
a
do
lake
is like
here.
walk up to roadkill and be like, "Look at that."
Well, first of all,
Holy shit.
when you go to Yellowstone now, there are Sparts.
Sparts.
Parts.
Parts. I was going to
Parts?
say spots and parts. There are
There are
parts
farts.
already taped off where they're saying, hey, like you will get hurt if you go in this
Yeah.
area. Don't do it. Don't be stupid.
When the volcano blows, you'll die,
And-
so don't come here.
But like there's already things like that. Hey, guess what? You can't walk onto the bog of...
Right. It's not a curated park. Right. It's
So the fact that he's like yellow tape, fence, scientific gear, dead animals, check.
I'm
like,
in.
Who cares?
Get
Yeah.
it. There's a creepy guy, Woody Harrelson,
Well,
spying on them from the trees. He
I don't want to
says,
cut you off all the time. They set their
No, you
tent up.
have to, because she's going to be going 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Right.
This
I'm
is
trying
like
to go-
a marathon
Just wait-
race for her.
Just wait till I'm done with the paragraph, and then you can go.
Okay.
There's
crazy.
no
All right,
end to
all right.
your paragraphs.
I can literally see every end.
It doesn't
to him.
stop.
No, you can go, Ken.
They set their tent up, and then like he goes to take a pee at night or something, and he like stumbles upon Woody Harrelson's RV 10 feet from their tent. And it's got like lights in the trees. and
Like he's
shit,
been
and,
living
like,
there.
Like there's no way you could conceivably miss it. And he, what's this? Woody Harrelson?
And he's like yelling in the RV too. It would
Yeah.
be pretty obvious. Woody's like a kooky, crazy guy. So he says like into a microphone, he's like always recording crap. Subject entered the hot zone. And then around the hill, U.S. Army comes over like they just got flagged. It is like
Oh, I
tanks
jumped
and
the gun.
helicopters
Sorry,
and
you're right.
everyone. No, that's okay. And all of a sudden they're like, "Sir, you got to come with us. You can't be here." Like how I don't know how they knew
Duh.
he was there, but
Oh,
okay.
that's a good point. Yeah.
And then they're like telling Adrian, the main science guy, like, "Hey, you got to talk to these tourists. Why would you even we need to explain to them?" You would just say, "Get out of here." You wouldn't
Yeah,
be like, "We're
get
going to take you
lost,
back to our
losers.
site and then explain things to you." That would never happen.
We're gonna bring these random trespassers to the one guy who's in
Secret
charge of this, who's
location.
here for like 10 minutes, and
But-
just checking on data. And he's like, "You
He was like,
you got
"I'll
to deal
talk
with
them."
our
Yeah.
menial problems."
You do find out Adrian is reading Douchebag's book, though. Okay, so that's when he's like, "Wait a minute, are you the Jackson Curtis?" And that's
Ever. So Jackson Curtis writes this book, and it's called like Forgetting
Like it-
Atlantis.
yeah,
or
some
something.
Atlantis thing.
It was
And
Atlantis.
The name of the
Falling or
book
something.
implies that he has an understanding of like geographical failures
You would think.
or society ending shifting of plates or something relevant to the plot, but they never explain if he has any kind of
He doesn't act like he knows.
no
I
he's
know.
just kind of there for the ride. And whoever plays Adrian, I think it's Chiwetel Ejiofor. Sorry if I said it
don't
wrong.
know.
That dude's acting his heart out. He's way over delivering for this movie.
For this movie.
And John Cusack definitely knows, well, this is bullshit.
John
I'm
Cusack's
just-
like Mr.
Jackson Curtis.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And
he's
the
just
other
dicking
guy is
around.
like trying to get an Oscar.
Right.
But that's when they had the little connection of the book. So
Well,
Yeah.
and don't forget, so Woody Harrelson is in a tree spying on them in the lake, and
That's
when he
right.
sees the army come, he
Takes
takes a bite
Big old
Mm-hmm.
chomp of a pickle.
of a pickle that is not cut at all. It's a full cucumber still.
It's a
And
cucumber.
It's a
Pickle.
beer can.
right, and that means he's crazy, obviously. Somebody's crazy if they take a bite
if-
of a pickle.
If
Yeah.
this was in 3D, it would say put on 3D glasses now. Because it just like
'Cause
sprays
he would be like,
at the
"Woo."
camera.
The pickle.
Yeah.
I also, when he was first listening to the radio, Jackson Curtis, on his way to Yellowstone, and it was Woody Harrelson,
It was,
of course, on his
yeah.
Just
sort of
listening
AM
to Woody
station.
Harrelson, yeah.
I thought it was Owen Wilson, and then Woody Harrelson showed
Ah.
up. But they have
They
very
do
similar
sound-
Same.
voices.
They could both fill that role.
Pickle equals crazy is what I wrote
I
in my
love
I
your
notes.
wrote
notes.
Woody Harrelson eating a pickle. That's it.
I wrote that
All you
immediately
need to
underneath.
know.
OMG, it's ... from Westworld.
So Adrian is like zoom in with his friend in India, the other scientist guy.
That's
I have no
right.
clue what his name is. He says everything's
Doesn't
going to
matter.
happen a lot sooner than they thought. And Adrian says, "Hey, we'll get you and your family out. No problem. We got ya." So you kind of
It's on
do
the
that.
house. Yeah.
Then, okay, this part drove me insane. It's when they're camping. Dad is on Google Maps. He's trying to figure out like what's going on in that government zone. The kids are sitting in a tent and it is wide open. The door
Yes.
is wide open. And the kid's like, "Oh, there's mosquitoes in here, Dad." Close
Dipshit.
the fucking door, stupid. like,
Duh.
like, what? And they're like, didn't you spray the tent? Which I'm like, that's not a thing.
That's
You
not
don't
how it works.
That's not. Have you never been around mosquitoes or bugs? Like, what?
There's
Yeah,
a
he's
reason
just
why
out.
there's like screens on every
There's
side of the
on
tent.
the tent. And
Yeah.
he's like, I'll get the spray tomorrow. Nobody closes the door in
It's
that
not
time.
how it
They
works.
just sit there. You would be eaten alive if you were in
Yeah.
the middle of Yellowstone with a tent wide open and you just have a light on at night. It would be like bugs swarming you. It would be
you would
insane.
never clear the tent either. It would just be game over. You got to go sleep in
No,
the
it's
limo.
done. You leave
Which I
that door
think is
open
where-
at all, and you're done.
Yeah.
It's usually when you go in, you're like, hurry, 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 hurry. When you go in and then you close it
Yeah.
really quick. There's
You
no
keep
way
that
you are
thing
like,
close.
oh my God.
Even if
So
it gets
right
hot in
then-
the tent,
Oh,
heat
no.
is better than mosquitoes.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
you said, though, he does abandon the kids and go to the limo himself.
He goes and talks to
Yes.
Crazy Charlie, Woody
Right.
Harrelson.
Who's 10 feet away.
Yeah. And then, of course, he has like a refrigerator full of pickles and a bunch of beer. And he's
Right.
telling him all these like conspiracy theories, and he seems crazy. He's talking about how they're building a spaceship and the world's going to end. And Jackson doesn't believe him, and he kind of ends up just leaving.
I'll tease the one thing that I thought was interesting about this movie. They kept saying, "Oh, they're building a ship." They keep teasing these ships, and at the end, it's not what you would think of
No.
what the ships are. So I'll give them credit there. But then it's like, then they find the ships, and it's like, nobody knows how to drive these things, or
Oh my God.
we'll get there.
The ships are like if I built them too, I feel
Right.
like.
Right.
They're insane. So then the ex-wife is in a store with Gordon. And then
Yes.
a giant crack happens in California where it's like the whole store is ripped in half and there's like a sinkhole, like giant crack. She essentially calls them, says, bring the kids home right away. They just think it's like a freak earthquake incident, though. Which I'm like, is nobody putting
That's
all
the
these
thing.
weird
And
things
doesn't-
together?
Doesn't Jackson Pollock show up? And she makes no mention of the fact that, the local Kroger just got ripped in half by 30 feet.
Right.
Right? It was
We don't
like,
need to
Just
talk
like,
about that.
give me my kids back. Like me and my whatever
Yeah.
husband almost just died.
which
don't
also I'm like,
mention it at
is
all.
it safer in California? Because I think the earth just cracked open
Right.
there.
You
I
just
don't know
came
why
from
we're bringing the
Yellowstone.
kids back.
Here we go.
Yeah.
This first crack sneaks up on them like a ninja.
It
well
does,
put.
because
It
the
does.
stepdad makes a joke about making a baby, and this is where it happens.
Mm-hmm.
And then, fortuitously, there's a crack driven between them.
Right. Oh, between them, you're right. He can't even make some sort of joke like, well, it's the end of the world.
It's foreshadowing
Might
that.
as well.
So then Adrian finds out the world shit's going down in about 2 to 3 days. Like things got bumped up quite a bit. The president wants to evacuate everyone right away. And you also find out the Ark ship, I don't know if this is per ship or all the ships, can hold 400,000 people.
I don't know. It's a good question.
I don't remember that number.
I just remember the number. I don't remember if they said like we can save that many or because I think there's like 4 ships.
I think there's like
Right?
8.
Are there a bunch? I don't know.
I don't
There's
know.
more
they
than
were
one.
building a lot, but the estimates
I think
on
4
when
are done.
the
right?
end
Okay.
would come. Yeah, they had only
Yeah.
finished 4.
Yeah, because like they were
Yeah.
not ready for that.
So maybe it's 100,000 per ship. That would make sense.
Right, that would make a little more sense. So then, okay, there's so much little crap in this. Jackson has to go to work. He drops the kids off at home. He has to do his limo driving. He picks up some rich Ukrainian,
right.
Russian family. I don't know.
Russian, yeah.
Are they? Okay.
He's that's now
So
we
he's
find
the
out
driver.
why
Now
he
the
had a
limo
limo.
Yep.
makes sense. This is
Yeah.
42 minutes in. The limo makes sense.
He
'cause
picks
he's a
up the rich
driver.
guy and his 2 kids, and they're like little assholes. He drops them off at their private plane, and the kids start saying, "Oh man, we have like tickets to a big ship so that you're gonna die. We aren't." Blah blah blah, because they're
See
like
ya,
being little
dipshit.
douchebags.
Yep.
And then he sees like the Earth shifting, and that's when, which I'm like, I don't know if like a 14-year-old yelling that at me would be like, I think the world's gonna end for real. But he's
He
all
puts
for
it together. Yeah.
He's
Is
there.
this about the time when we're cutting back to man, what's his name? The doctor and
Adrian.
no, Gustav or Gusterson or
Gordon?
Gordon. We cut back to Gordon.
stepdad. The
And
stepdad.
they got the TV on, and it's fake Arnold Schwarzenegger saying that
Yeah,
it's...
that's when
right.
it's just
I do
about
remember.
to happen.
I
yeah,
made
you're
a
right.
note.
They did that.
There are political references in this that I don't understand because it's been too long.
It's
Yeah, I don't remember.
It's been 15 years. I don't know what these references are anymore.
Right.
Especially compared to stuff now. I feel like it was
Right.
very lighthearted and
Right.
now
Sure.
it's
The
like
fact, yeah,
the world's on
you're right
fire.
though. He has an Austrian accent, which is I
Mhm.
think was what Schwarzenegger is, and yeah, that's funny.
So Jackson runs into where he dropped them off. He runs in and finds a guy with like a little plane and essentially like rents the plane. He
Yeah,
drives
that
home.
was weird.
With his watch.
Yeah, which
You're right
no,
though, because
it's-
he puts together that there's cracks all over California,
yeah.
and these rich Russians are going onto a ship, and
Yeah,
I'm gonna die.
Which like Charlie was like, they're building a ship, but I don't know if I would be like, oh, it must be true.
So then
Woody Harrelson told him that was going to happen.
He then
He-
immediately goes and like pays someone
Yeah, for a
with
plane.
a plane to wait for me.
Yep.
Like that's
So-
a pretty big jump.
And then he
I didn't think about
rushes
that.
home. Like he's driving
Yeah.
100 back to his ex-wife's house to like pick them up.
Yeah.
And while he's on his way there, it begins.
Yeah.
So the earthquakes start, the house is going crazy. He runs in, and while the houses across the street are crumbling to dust, like they have no
falling
structure.
into the ground,
Like,
just thunk,
Disappearing.
they're
Gone.
like whack-a-mole. They're just going down.
I think
It's
I have
It goes from a
Sorry,
pretty
number 5,
normal
6, and
movie
7.
into like just
crazy.
hope you like disaster shit because this is it from here on out.
At this point, I wrote, let the fun begin.
That's exactly what it is.
It is. So
Yeah.
he's yelling at them to get in the car. They all get in the car, and it is, like you said, Ken, it is sinkholes everywhere. It is houses, whack-a-mole gone. The structure of the road, well, apparently the road he's on is like pretty good. Highways and everything else.
Pretty
crazy.
Always the one he's on a sign.
This is
It's the
when
last to go.
he is
Yeah.
jumping the limo over holes. He is, as buildings are crashing, he's going through the glass
He's
on one
driving
side
through
and
buildings.
out the other.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? Covered in poop. The first thing that happens
Oh,
to the
yeah.
limo is that it
Yeah.
gets slammed by a
The
sewage
windshield
line.
is covered in shit and it's
Yeah.
cracked to smithereens. Like, and it shows it very clearly. He
Mhm.
cannot safely drive. I'm sorry. I'm gonna nitpick. He can't.
Let
see
alone
through that
while the
windshield.
world is crumbling around him.
I also
and
wrote
buildings are falling. Like, it's insane.
Toy Story 1 CGI where they strap Buzz and Woody to that RC car.
Oh, yeah.
That's about the quality of the CGI, which is really a testament to how good Toy Story 1 is, rather than how bad this movie is.
Because it was like 94.
right? Like, they
Right.
certainly skimped on the CGI budget. Like, it doesn't
It
look
looks
good.
bad.
But I
Yeah,
also
it
don't know
looks
how
bad.
you would ever do, like,
I don't
all
know how
of
you.
LA.
I don't know what good CGI disaster
That's
movie
true.
looks like, right?
Car chase, let the fun begin, poop covered. That's my
what we got so
total
far.
note there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's all
do
you need
picture
to know.
5 and 6, Ben.
Oh, pictures number 5 and number 6. All right. Well, let's see what we got here.
They're also driving
always
where
a
they, like,
mystery to me
barely
what's
make it
gonna
under
come
a
up.
bridge.
Yeah,
like,
he's
is
jumping shit.
totally
he's going through.
crazy.
He like
Okay.
jumps from a bridge into
Whoa.
a building, drives through the building.
Yeah.
What can
it's-
we even decipher here?
I don't know. You can just
That's
tell
a gas line.
shit's going.
would be
Look
my
at somebody just like
assumption.
copy
Just
pasted this
vapor-
fireball
Yeah, that's-
on this
that is-
picture.
You can do number 6 too.
You're absolutely right.
Look at this.
They took like a
I'm just
regular
gonna put
neighborhood
this
and put
here.
some smoke.
Right.
Number 6. Let's see what we can find here. Oh, here we go. Okay, you guys are
Oh,
gonna
is
like
that-
this one.
We almost
one
need
is
a
that one?
clip to really
I know.
Yeah, right. We'll have to
go
go.
find clips online, guys, because it's
Look
it's
this
pretty
up.
wild.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Oh, is that the
I
limo?
think that's some. Well, I don't know
No,
if
the
that's
limo,
a limo.
the limo is up and to the right.
Oh, the limo
That's the
made it.
limo.
No, look, the limo made it. It's
Okay.
back
Right.
here.
But that's the
Right.
kind of crap that's happening.
Right.
There's like shots during this scene where there's like 2 old ladies driving a car, and it's like real funny that they have to like get around them by driving through a
And then
picket
they
fence,
just-
and then those old ladies die.
Like straight up. There's people
you
just.
see the old ladies just go into a ravine. Like
It's-
there's no. Yeah.
They die.
There's some horrible shots.
A lot of people die in this movie.
They get to the airport.
Look at this.
The
I'll be right
pilot is
back.
dead.
The limo made it.
So the limo made it. The pilot's dead, though, at the airport. And Gordon, of course, Gordon took like 10 minutes of lessons. So they're like,
all
Gordon
he
can fly
needs.
the plane. Which at that point, I can't talk tonight. At that point, Gordon is going, well, I can't fly, which I think in that circumstance you would try. Like, you're not going to deny some flight lessons. I don't think you have much going on here.
Well, I can't go to
Well,
Japan.
I can't go to Japan. Let's see. So California's gone. They have to go up in the plane.
Mm-hmm.
This is the part where the airstrip is still good enough, just kind of like barely take off before it crumbles. And they seem to go down so much that they go up what seems like 18 miles as buildings are falling down onto them. And I don't know how many layers there are of California. Apparently a lot. Doesn't really make sense to me. But they're like flying like straight up and there's like skyscrapers falling down at them. I don't know where they were.
I don't know. I didn't understand this. They don't have quite enough speed to take off by the time the runway crumbles from underneath them, but they don't really go down. They just, don't really have enough speed, quite enough speed to gain some altitude. And yet somehow this turns into subterranean.
They continue to go down for quite some time. It doesn't make any sense. I have it. It's written here. It's like suddenly we're 500 feet below surface level.
Right.
Okay, that's exactly.
Subterranean airport is my comment here.
There's buildings way up there still falling on them, which made no sense.
They're so far below the surface that buildings are falling into the crevasse. That doesn't accurately
No, that's the best I could
What
find,
I didn't understand is look at where the surface is. How did they get down here? And then, but why is the highway down here also? Nothing makes sense. At one point they're below the subway, even though keep in mind
subway,
they've been flying and they started up here. Yeah. So how did they get this low?
And if everything is falling, how do you find yourself below highways suddenly?
Like when you be up immediately?
If anything, you would be immediately in clear airspace for the most part. Right?
It doesn't. There is that point where the subway comes out of the side and almost hits them.
A freaking subway train just rockets out of the cliff. And they dodge.
And that's when you just see everyone die, though. There's people just like...
they have to dodge the subway.
Yeah,
people going to lunch. Headed home from work.
Okay, this is...
But this movie is so crazy.
It is.
You can't dwell on how that doesn't make sense. Because we're on to the next scene.
That same scene will happen about 10 more times.
This is step... Okay, we've executed step one of we're going to copy this exact moment for the rest of the movie.
Copy, paste.
Yep. Yeah, so essentially they fly to Yellowstone.
Where do they go?
They're going to try to find Charlie.
Yeah, so he drove there, drove back, flew back to Yellowstone.
Jeez Louise.
And they land on the airstrip that the military had built there?
Is that what it was?
Sure.
Whatever.
I think
don't remember.
Of the military base in the restricted area?
So he finds his RV. They drive the RV until they see him. It's him and his daughter up on like a mountain, whatever, which apparently there's a perfect road up there. I'm like, well, that's convenient.
Because they're looking for... They're looking for the map.
Charlie to find the map to where the spaceship or boat
ships
is.
are.
The ships.
Right.
Spaceships.
Well, that's
just ships. Yeah.
So he's up there like yelling at Charlie, he's like content crazy. He's going live, guys.
Content crazy.
He went too far. Yeah.
Which I don't know. So he's up there with him asking, where's the map? What's going on? And all the birds like fly away, which is creepy.
Right.
I'll admit that was real
cool.
creepy.
I liked that. That was all right.
And then is that when the volcano goes off?
Almost.
When he's up there?
Yeah.
Almost?
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, Charlie tells him the map's in the RV.
Wait, who's Charlie? The kid?
No, Woody Harrelson.
Woodrow Wilson.
Woody Harrelson. Why did you do this?
Wilson, sorry.
Why did you do
Okay,
that? Holy
when-
shit. Yeah, that's what
When it goes
Yellowstone
off,
looks like when it goes off, I guess.
Look at this.
when it goes off, it is so big. If you were in a
It's like
100-mile radius,
20
you would
miles
like
wide.
be blasted. It is insane. They're probably 2 miles down the road, and
It's just like 800 atomic bombs.
I don't know how they didn't just like poof into
Right.
like just done.
You would
but
die
somehow they're
from the
fine.
sound. The sound
Yeah.
would kill you.
They get knocked down a little bit.
That that would be insane. So then there's like rocks flying everywhere and explosions.
Yeah,
They have to
I
drive the
hated
RV
this part.
back. Is this one number 8? This
This-
must be, right?
This is photo number 8. Yes.
Okay, they have to drive the RV back.
This is the
like,
RV, by
while
the way,
it's
So
on
on
the right
Woody
fire.
side of the
Harrelson,
screen.
like a true psychopath,
He sticks with it.
gets
Content till the end.
gets eviscerated in this blast while chomping on a pickle. He just gets, blown away.
He did.
But the best part is he's going live during it. Like he has
Right.
a microphone.
Got to
He
get
is
that
like
content, baby.
he
Like, share,
up until the
subscribe.
end.
I'm about to.
I'm about to blow. This like there's so much after this. There's so much more in
There
this
is so
movie.
much.
But the Woody Harrelson like scene where the John Cusack's in there and he gets a beer and then he takes Woody Harrelson's
He
beer
takes his
at the
last
end.
beer,
He's like,
which
that's
is
my
really
last
good.
one. And he's like,
Holding
oh,
it,
that'll
and
be
he's like,
perfect. And he
"Thanks."
just takes it. And it's like it's a mismatch. There's like 2 Paps and there's like a
I don't even know.
Bush
Whatever.
Light or something. I liked that scene. It was weird. It was so bizarre.
It is strange. It's a strange interaction.
Mm-hmm.
Woody Harrelson's really chewing on. He's really overselling it, but I'm sure he was told to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
So he gets the map out of the RV so sloppily though. They're
Oh,
taking
sorry.
off with the plane. Like they're like, we can't wait for him. He
Wait.
is slow. What?
John Cusack is driving the RV with his daughter. A meteor,
It's like on fire in the back.
something hits it, and so it's
Yeah.
flaming from behind. He's going to get to the stepdad,
Yeah.
who's going to fly the next plane, or is it the same plane?
It's the same one.
It's
They
still the
fueled
same
up.
plane. They
Same
refilled
plane.
this
Yeah.
one.
Round 2, they refueled,
Mm-hmm.
and he does an RV jump
Yes.
over a ravine
Right.
That's
to get to the
true.
plane,
Jump
That
the
is
crack.
true.
and then John Cusack falls into the ravine with the map, which took him like 20 minutes to find.
First of all, if someone said there's a map on my shelf, you grab all those maps.
just grab
and
it
you
all,
run out.
you
don't-
dumbass.
Right.
You don't
We'll
keep
take all the
looking.
maps.
You're not like, not the map.
He's
not
like
the
opening them up.
map.
Oh no, that can't be right.
Area 51.
So then they
He ju-
finally get into the plane, and it's the
Mhm.
exact same scene you
It's the same as
saw
the first
10
one.
minutes ago.
Yep.
The runway is collapsing underneath them. There's meteors or
Yeah,
shrapnel
whatever
from
you want to call it.
Yeah, there's Woody Harrelson's body goes cartwheeling by, flaming, and it's the same thing.
Woody Harrelson's body comes cartwheeling by.
Just like one of those
It's
fireworks.
just a
that-
skeleton at that
Those
point.
ones
though.
are so
yeah,
scary
they
that you're
spin
like.
and they go up. What are those called? Right.
But he last minute runs and catches up to the plane,
gets
and his
there,
like
yeah.
ex-wife pulls him in, and that's when they find out they're building the boats in China.
Spoilers.
We
The
gotta
ships.
get
They're
to
building
China.
the ships in China.
When I saw him running, holding the map out
First
like
of
this,
all-
I thought he was just going to hand them the map, and then he
Oh,
does
that'd be great.
But he does the awkward like jumping
Right,
into
he
a moving
dives.
vehicle sort of
Oh
thing,
no,
and
I
of
want him
course
to fall into the pit.
Yeah.
the runway's falling out from underneath the plane
It's the
again.
same
Time
thing
number
we just
2.
saw.
It almost doesn't take
And
off.
And once again, he goes down. It's like
It
there's a
dips.
mountain, and
Yeah.
it's like, do you know how to pull up? I've never flown a plane. I would know what to do. I
Look,
feel.
I've flown a plane
Have you?
Have you?
once.
Have you?
Yeah,
Also, this is a
there was a
not
pilot in
specific.
there with me, but his hands were off the wheel.
Oh.
not specific to this movie, but I love the movie trope that pulling up on an airplane is essentially a measure of strength, right? It's like a carnival game if you can get over the cliff, because they're always just like they're just
Yeah, like you have to be like
like,
benching to be a pilot. Like,
Right.
It's like in a video game when you really want to turn.
oh man, you're like
Right.
pushing so hard on the
Right.
controller.
They always depicted it, or like, they're pushing on the accelerator of the airplane as if it's like giving physical tactile feedback on, hey, I can't go
Right.
any faster.
We
I'm
need-
just gonna like if I'll just push harder and it'll go faster.
I need a co-pilot to help me actually push the
Yeah.
throttle
Right.
up because it's going to be so
Right.
difficult.
Right.
Oh
That's
my
not.
gosh.
I don't think that's how it works. I'm pretty confident.
And then
Pretty sure.
the explosion cloud is moving faster than they are
That's
and
right.
catches up to them and
Yes.
overtakes them, and
But
yet
then-
somehow then it stops and
They
they pop
fly
out.
out.
Why
Yeah.
did it stop or slow down?
Well,
Smoke
everybody knows
monster.
when a 20-mile diameter volcano explodes, the smoke cloud clears after 5
Yeah.
miles.
It has a sort of like a dead end stop.
Right.
It
Right.
seriously
loses
was
its
like
gusto.
20 atomic bombs, like in
Yeah.
Yellowstone. It was
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
But that's when you find out the president of the U.S. doesn't want to go on the ship. He's going to stay behind. Which I'm like, I don't think presidents are allowed to be like, you know what? I'm out.
I don't think they are either. Right.
So
You get,
I thought that
you
was
get
a little
shuffled
weird.
into that bus.
Yeah,
Buster.
like you don't. That's
Captain's
you
going down with his
si-
ship.
You signed up for this job. You need to continue on with your job.
I will go down with
I don't think you get to say like I'm done. But
It's like
apparently,
Titanic.
That was different. So then they land the plane in Las Vegas. The airstrip is still there, thankfully. We got landing strips around the world.
Oh my
that
God,
are
we're back
still
in California,
intact.
aren't we? I can't. This is the third
We're in
time.
Nevada.
Well, pretty
Nevada?
close. So
Oh, it is.
Nevada. We're
I knew a
near
kid in
California.
Sixth grade who pronounced it Nevada in a spelling bee. He never. I think he left the school because we roasted him so hard.
oh my God,
Nevada.
Nevada.
Quinn wants us to stop thinking about the physics in this movie. And I just,
It's hard not to when that's what the movie's based
they
on.
took off from a runway and were suddenly underneath the subway.
Oh, I do want to make a point. Oh God, sorry. The stepdad has flown the plane twice now, expertly, despite having no experience.
Not to mention land and
Right.
takeoff. Like that.
Land and take off
That's
twice.
tricky.
The
Yeah.
Like-
stepdad is the real hero.
Oh yeah.
The weight of the world is on this guy's shoulders.
No, and
No one.
And he
It's not
continues to
even like-
deliver.
I feel like
it's
no
not
one's
even
giving
like,
him
oh,
credit.
it's my shitty stepdad. He's a pretty cool guy.
Like
Except
the
Right.
the wife
the
is still
kid
apparently in love with
likes him better than his dad.
Jack
Yeah.
Jackson. Yeah. Jackson.
So in LA, it's kind of crazy. That's when you see from earlier the rich Russian guy that he worked for. He's also
That's
there
right.
because his plane got all messed up. He finds a plane or his plane is good or whatever.
It's some other Russian plane that he can
They
just
said
like
Other,
commandeer.
but then later with the car, doesn't he use it's voice activated? So how did that work?
But it wasn't his Bentley, though. He was going to order one, but then he
But
knew about
he-
the world ending, so he didn't.
Yeah, but remember he like to turn it on, he used voice activation.
Right, he knew that it was voice activated.
Just
it wasn't
Russian
it
voice?
wasn't
He had shopped
no, it just
around.
you just
He
had
had
to
shopped
anybody could have said it.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
you had to
okay.
start the car with your voice
Yeah.
because he had
Once
been
again, it's
looking
like,
into
I
getting
don't-
one of those.
Okay. So they come up and they're like, "We found a plane."
But he spent $1 billion on a cruise ticket.
I can't fly without a co-pilot, and everyone's like, "Hey, Gordon's really good with planes." So
He
they
saved our
signed
ass
Gordon up.
twice now.
Who's
Yeah.
still in his scrubs.
Gordon is still scared to fly, though. He keeps telling everyone, "No, not me."
He's like
which
a
I think,
pro at this point.
I think at the end of the world, you would be like, "I'm right here.
Sure.
Like, sign me up." And it's a big plane though. This time, it's carrying.
This is
you
like-
know,
It's as big as they get.
it's
Yeah.
big.
This is the plane. It's got like 20 cars in it. It's coming from
once
an
again-
LA auto show.
Yeah. Once
They
again,
say.
the runway is kind of falling apart, guys.
Yeah.
We gotta get out of here. We gotta
Round
skedaddle.
3.
Shit.
This is the
Here we
third
go again.
time.
I think the
We've
dust
seen
cloud
this scene.
from Yellowstone has hit them, plus like
Yes.
other shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. Throughout this movie, there are always people still working when the world
Yes.
is ending, which I
Yes.
I don't understand
Yeah.
that. So while they're taking off, there's someone in their ear saying, "Who's doing this? You don't have clearance. You can't." And they're like, "You don't have clearance." And they like are dying.
And
Right.
it shows the air tower be blown away.
Yeah.
And it's like, why are you guys not gone?
Yeah,
Why
who's
are you
still up
in
there
the-
being like, "Yep, your checks, you're clear." There is
Right.
shit. The whole world is ending, and you are still in that tower giving people the green light.
Like half the
What?
runway is destroyed. The airport is non-functional.
He
And
is
the air
doing
traffic
his
controller
job.
is still up there
Right.
telling people not to take off
God
because
damn
they
it,
don't have
not
clearance.
Not on my watch.
No, hold on. Hold on. I gotta
You
make
are
sure you're not gonna hit
cleared
anybody
for
else.
takeoff.
His last words are, "You don't have clearance," and then he
Yeah.
died.
And then he
Like-
gets
And then it-
like
It shows it get just
He gets destroyed.
destroyed.
you're making good progress here. I'm watching your.
Okay,
We're
so
cruising. We're
they're
well over
flying
halfway
for a
through
while.
the movie. Yeah.
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, I don't know about that. They're
God,
trying to get
maybe
to
you're
China.
right. Why
Trying
are
to
they
get
going to China?
China?
Because all
That's
the
where the
ships are in
ships
That's
are.
where the
China?
ships are.
Yeah,
That was perhaps the most unbelievable part of this because I was like, okay, I get it. There's 4 ships. There's going to be a U.S. one. There's going to be a Europe one. There's going to be
You
an
would
Asia
think,
ship,
right?
and maybe there's
Rather
like
than-
a secret one. There's an Antarctica ship we got to get to. But it just, oh no, they're all in China. Everybody
there.
has to get to this one location, which is
yeah,
like
which would be chaos. Trying
nice
to.
backup plan, jackass. It's
Let
not
me-
a backup plan if it's one location.
Well, let me quote the movie directly. Leave it to the Chinese.
Did they say
That's
that?
what they say.
mean? What does that mean?
Oh.
That's what they said. When they see the ships for the first time, he goes, "Leave it to the Chinese." You know-
Yikes. Okay.
What
I
does
never
that
thought
mean?
they'd pull it off.
What?
That's
But
That's
it's
what
like
they
It's
say.
like an international thing, though. So
Oh my gosh.
were
I
they
don't know.
surprised that this $1 trillion project was half completed?
Well, and
Or-
let's not forget
get-
who was invited on the arcs.
Hold on.
We've
We'll get to
got
that. We'll get to that.
Americans,
Hold
Okay.
on.
No, I want to hear
Just
this. I
wait.
want to hear this.
Europeans,
Okay.
a couple of Middle Eastern folk, and some people from Russia.
Did you-
Everybody
Not the
else
Chinese.
is out.
Did you
No,
guys
yeah.
see
No,
anyone
the Chinese
from...
had to build the boats, but they weren't allowed on the boats.
Yeah, they weren't. None of the workers.
That's actually they do
actually
actually
got a-
point that out.
Yeah.
They don't get on.
There were
yeah.
a couple of other major continents that they said no thanks.
Nobody from India, nobody from Australia. We'll get to Africa at the end. That's really the exclamation
Anyone
point
from
on
South
this movie.
America? Like, were they?
Nope,
Did
nobody from South America
Did anyone
was
call
allowed on.
them or?
Nobody
Nope?
even told them this was going to happen.
At this point, I just wanted it to end. We're so. Anyway.
So they're flying for a while. They need to refuel in Hawaii,
Kauai.
and when they
The
get
way
there,
the Russian
right.
guy said Hawaii, I
That's
was
true.
like, what are they saying? They kept saying
yeah, I
Kauai.
didn't get it until they. Yeah.
like
yeah.
someone else said it, and I was like, oh, okay, I
Kauai.
understand what you're saying. But when they get there, it's just lava. Like everything's gone.
Yeah.
So then they say they have to make a water landing anyway because all of the landing gear ripped off. Which I'm like, thanks for that heads up, but okay.
Could you read what this says right here for one moment, please? Kauai.
Is that what it says? I was like, Lou, I thought it was an L.
Oh, you know what? You know what's weird about this movie, and the Hawaii thing is a good part to talk about it. There's a bunch of like really tiny, like subplots, right? Because as they come up on Hawaii, it cuts to like this guy, and he's waking up in his bed, and he like calls his mom, and his mom is sick or something, and they sort of create this like, we should care about this person, and then they just get blown to hell.
destroyed.
Like, and it happens
Yeah, they do a lot
multiple
of those.
times.
Mm-hmm. Oh
like,
yeah.
never mind, that dude's dead.
Right,
Like,
this-
and
There-
what am I supposed to take from that? Well, I should pay more attention to 20-mile diameter volcanoes, or like I don't.
Yeah. I don't know
don't-
what you want me to
It doesn't
do.
make
This-
me care more.
Right. This is not, we're going to prevent Armageddon. This is, you get to watch Armageddon.
Yes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We're gonna celebrate it,
It's happening,
Right.
and you're going to enjoy it.
girl.
Yeah,
This
this
is your
is-
moment. We are gonna thrive tonight.
This is exactly what you're saying, Ken. This is when you see scenes from all over, horrible things. So, like, they just show,
Armageddon was
Italy, this, India, like, all
Yeah.
these places just getting taken out. And it's like people all hanging out in groups, and it's just like, blah, and they just get
And
destroyed.
Is this where the Indian guy from the beginning gets destroyed too? Because he was promised he was
it
going to
might
get
be
out of
here.
there.
No, it's not yet.
Not yet.
Not
Well,
yet.
Spoilers. He also gets blown to smithereens.
Also, okay, they cut back to the White House several times. Everyone who works at the White House apparently doesn't have a family. You got to
Yeah.
keep working till you die. You don't get to go see anyone.
Yeah, I'm out.
Nothing.
Nope.
I don't understand why you'd still be
Just
there
keep
being like,
working.
I'm debriefing. Who gives a crap? The world's
Right.
ending in 2 days. Go home. Sorry.
Oh, this when DC is in the ash cloud yet?
It's about to hit DC. And this is when you see the Sistine Chapel in Italy get taken out and the Vatican gets taken out and it's like rolling over people. It's
Like
Oh,
a huge
man,
crowd
I
of people
forgot
get
about that. I
steamrolled by
forgot
that.
about
it's
that.
like if you took
the
it
way
off
topples
and it like
makes
is
no
rolling.
sense. It comes off of the church and
starts rolling down the street, and it's not an
You
empty
just see
street.
it.
It
It
is
is
a
a
packed
packed.
street,
right?
and it's just rolling
rolling
over people.
It's just like a dandel, like if you flicked a quarter and it just and
It
rolls.
is like rolling around town. So that happened.
So stupid.
This is when Ben mentioned, I don't know why we didn't just put everyone in like planes and blimps, hot air balloons
Right?
for a little while, just
Well,
for a
because-
couple
Just
hours.
float 'em
or
up there.
something.
We forgot to mention Dr. Adrian and the one actor nobody can remember have been flying in Air Force One for like days.
A while.
I think at
don't
this
know.
point.
I mean, I
At
guess to
least
get to
12
China, right? They're
hours.
going.
But I thought they were just kind of circling the U.S. for a bit there.
I
But
don't even know, but they seem fine in a plane. So
Talking
why
about
are
these
we
two?
not packing more people?
yes,
Yeah,
this
in
is Air
planes?
Force One. Man, the guy on the right there is just I don't think he knew what he was signing up for as an actor when because like that guy is in really good movies now. I think he's
Yeah.
done a bunch of shit.
He's
And-
probably
Whew.
right. This was
He
not
had
his.
to get his break somehow, I guess.
So there's tsunamis now coming after all the earthquakes. Adrian's dad dies on a cruise ship. It flips. They're all dead.
Right,
This
that's
is
a
like-
whole subplot.
It's a whole
That's a
plot
whole
too.
subplot.
It's his dad and his dad's friend, and they like call the family. Like
He
there's a whole
calls the
big
dude
thing.
in Hawaii. That's what it is. He
That's
calls
what
the
it
dude
is.
in Hawaii, and he
It's his
blows up,
son.
and then the
Yeah.
cruise ship blows up, and it's like, cool, thanks. They're
Everybody's
all
dead.
Everybody's
Yeah.
dead.
I
So
think you see
then-
a cruise ship do like a 1080 before it crashes down
Oh
on
yeah,
itself.
it just
Remember, it's starting to tip on its side, so he climbs to the outside edge,
And then
which
it's
is now
just-
facing vertical, and he's just laying on the
Is that
side
what
of the ship.
happens? Oh
And
my
the
God.
wave,
Oh,
there's
the
like a
wave just-
1,500 meter wave just sort of crashes down on him.
like
What
you're
about
done.
the USS John F. Kennedy or whatever,
We're just about
the
to get to
aircraft
that.
carrier?
So
It like
Oh, that's right.
is
yeah.
pushed onto its side and it plows through the White House like a snow plow.
So that is what's
This is
happening
like
right
disaster
now.
porn.
This
So
is-
the
It
ash
is.
cloud hit
It
DC,
is.
and so like the president's outside, and they're like, they kind of act like that was the worst of it, like the ash cloud from Yellowstone or something, and they're like, "Okay, let's help everyone."
Well,
And they
it's-
look up, and the tidal wave's coming with what you said. The giant ship comes, and it like scrapes the floor of
It's-
the
what's
White
his
House
name?
and everything.
Danny Glover. Is that his name?
Yeah,
Danny?
right?
Danny Glover?
Danny, I don't know. It's him
Dan?
though.
It's not Daniel Glover.
No, it's Danny, right?
Danny Glover is there with ash on him, like some sort of like white-faced clown. And then this aircraft carrier is at complete 90 degrees to the surface of the earth.
You
and
can
it's
like
just
hear it. I
white.
feel like
It's like
Yeah.
a scene wipe. It could have been a transition. And it just
Oh my gosh.
It does. One thing I liked about that scene was I thought it accurately portrayed how big aircraft carriers are.
yes.
True.
They're
That was
like
cool.
so giant,
Well,
and it
'cause-
just was like
Right, like the White House looks like a normal house compared to
Yeah.
just a superstructure moving
Yeah.
horizontally.
So everyone who worked in the White House dead. They're gone. That whole DC
DC is
wiped
gone.
Yep.
out. So then we're back on the plane that the whole that big giant plane that everybody's flying. They were about to land in water. They were getting all prepped. They're giving everyone like pep talks with everything. And then they realize that the whole Earth, everything has shifted. So now the South Pole is in Wisconsin. And they've gained 1,500 miles to where they need to be. Like they've been
Wow.
flying, and the
Is that
Earth was like,
Is
and then
that
they're
what
like,
it was?
So they needed to refuel in Hawaii. Hawaii was in flames.
Oh.
In the
Yes.
time between Hawaii and when they thought they were going to have to make a water landing and die,
like shit was like,
the whole
Earth
Earth's plate has
shifted.
shifted 23 degrees, and it just happened. It
To
just
shift in their
happened to
favor.
shift in the exact direction
Oh.
and place that when
were
they run out of
traveling.
fuel, they
Yeah.
are, instead of over the Pacific Ocean, they are directly over where the Ark ships are.
Okay, I have a note, and it says the Earth shifted 1,000 miles, but they still somehow wind up in China.
yeah.
Now I understand. It just went the correct way.
It just, they're up here. They were going to crash land in the Pacific.
And it was like,
And no, crash land right into Tibet.
That's right. Okay.
which is like, but they still don't have that landing gear. So they say, why don't we just take the cars for a drive? So they all get
Oh my
in a
gosh,
car.
I forgot about this.
They
This
get
is
in a
so
car.
stupid.
They're
This
gonna
is Fast
open the
and
back of the
Furious
plane
stuff.
and drive out. So they drive out of the plane. It works.
In the voice-activated Bentley.
In the voice activated.
Wait,
by
everybody
the
shut up.
Russian guy.
Everybody shut up. What does he say? Engine
Bentley start.
start.
Yeah.
In like slow-mo. Engine
He is a very
start.
slow talker. The plane like stops right on the cliff, but then it falls over and the pilot dies, which kind
Also,
of is like a
like-
side
Yuri!
story. But
Oh,
They
not
played as like a
Yuri.
joke, though. I don't
Yeah.
know.
it was weird.
weird.
Again.
He's like, and then it's like,
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is.
the hell?
And the dude is, at least from what they've shown you, he's like
He's nice.
an okay guy.
He's good. Yeah.
Right.
He's
Stand-up
been
dude.
piloting
He
with
was
the
the one
stepdad.
who said, "Everybody else go out. I'll
Get
go
out.
down with the plane."
I'm gonna take the plane down, and it skids to the edge of the cliff. And he brow white, and then he's dead.
And then it's like, like
Gotcha,
instantly.
bitch. He's dead.
it was out
It
of
just-
fuel. How did it explode like that?
You know, just big stuff hitting big
I
stuff.
mean, they
All
were
that
running
other
on-
stuff in
They
there.
were running on E. And
Maybe all the cars were fueled. It was
There you
filled
go.
with like a ton of cars.
fueled with hydrogen.
come on now.
So many cars.
You're
I like how they
asking
took
too
the
much of us.
Bentley. Out of all the cars in there, they took the Bentley.
Well, I guess so. If it was a one near the back, you can't take one that's behind
Right.
18
I
other
would've
There's only
tried.
two you can pick from.
Yeah, you don't have any choices.
Of the two rows, it's the last two cars.
So a helicopter like sees them down there by this crash, comes
Of course,
down.
helicopters carrying animals from
That's
Africa,
true,
so they
yes.
clearly did go to Africa
did.
at some point. They didn't tell anybody why.
There's like a giraffe and an elephant, and they're just being airlifted like on chains.
This was bizarre.
Which was weird. But when they go down there, the Russian guy's like, I have tickets for me and my kids. He leaves his girlfriend, who's like, what the fuck? And he just goes
Well,
with
'cause
them,
she
and
was
they take
hooking-
him to
She
the
was
ship.
hooking up with the guy
The
who
pilot.
just died.
with Yuri.
Yeah.
Yuri.
But she's also like a character you're like,
Was his
she's
name
nice.
Yuri?
You like her.
I wrote down Sasha. Sasha
Oh, it was
dies
Sasha.
as a
No.
joke.
Who's
question
Yuri?
mark.
You know, it was Sasha. You're right.
Yeah.
Do you know who Yuri is?
I was just making that up. I was wrong. I was so wrong. It was Sasha.
So what? Okay, sorry. Adrian and the president's daughter are both on Air Force One flying to China, I guess. I don't know.
Adrian.
And Adrian, they have to live on this ship. Like, he knows about the ship. They have to live there for a while. And in his bag, what did he pack? Like 10 books.
He packed Jackson Curtis's Atlantis Falling.
And that's it.
Atlantis Rising.
He said, I don't need clothes. I don't need a toothbrush. I don't need anything. Just give me the books.
Yeah.
What? What is
He's a
wrong?
dork.
How long are you going to be on that arc? Who knows?
He's a
What
lame
if you're-
nerd.
Every time his dad would leave town on a gig, he said, you get an ice cream cone for every book you read when I get back.
Yeah.
That's his thing.
So stupid.
That's his thing. He became a doctor.
Okay, so
He's a geologist.
we see inside where they're building the arcs. which it's like a giant. It's insane, right? It's giant. They have like a bus system. They have a ton. Which
It's a
that
city.
alone,
It's an entire city.
that would take
Yeah.
like 20 years to build. But okay.
It's sort of like the
I appreciate the train system because it matches the scope of what they're trying to do.
It makes sense. I
Right.
just don't know how they
You
would have
would
done it
need
so fast.
hundreds of thousands of people
Mm-hmm.
to build these ships.
right.
Yeah.
The facility in which they build the ships reminds me of the sort of garages for the big robot suits in Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. But they are full on like still working on shit. There's sparks going
Yeah, that's
off. There's
crazy,
tools.
right?
Which you're like, I think we gotta go.
Right.
Well, they'd
we
only
can-
finished
And-
4 of the ships.
Yeah, but
and
we know
they're
if
like-
we're gonna finish ship 5 in the next 15 minutes.
Look,
Like-
none of those workers
like-
are getting on the ships.
I
They
don't
didn't
know.
tell them
I
it's
guess
time.
they were just like finish
Jeez
up.
Louise. How grim
and then
can you get?
they're like during the last earthquake, it like broke the top of this one ship, which I'm like, I don't know. I
Now
feel
we're
like
down another
we
ship.
should be prepared for
That's
that.
right. Something fell on it, or
Something
'cause
fell
they're
on
in
it and it like
caves or some
broke,
shit?
so they're fixing it. Shouldn't it be prepped for like a lot of shit falling on it?
You would think.
Right.
Like more than like, oh, some rocks fell on the top, so it ripped it open. Like
Yeah.
I only
And
wrote
this-
bad CG for this scene.
Yeah.
So
Wait, did we miss where the stepdad dies?
No, we're not there yet.
Not yet.
Sorry,
man.
spoilers.
So,
right.
so Jackson, the family, and the Russian woman and her dog catch a ride with a family who is a Chinese family whose son works on the ships.
He's a worker, yeah.
I think, right? So he's
Yeah.
trying to like get his family in. They catch a ride with him. They try to get them all in. They're sneaking them in.
And
though.
we've been teased them through the whole movie. They were the people that were getting relocated in the very beginning.
Yeah, we kinda
saw
see
a
them.
middle scene that
totally-
said, "Hey, my brother can get me in."
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's like a monk or whatever at some sort of monastery,
that's
and
right,
the guy's
yeah.
like, "All right, here's the keys. You know,
Yeah.
you can go."
Oh yeah, to like
You know,
take-
and
yes.
now we see him again with the truck driving with the family.
They
So
help
this
him.
is actually the 4th time I think that we've seen them.
So then we cut to Adrian finds his room, and he's pissed because it's super spacious, and you could fit a bunch of people in there. And
Give me an effing break.
Here's
It costs
the thing,
$1
though.
billion to get on
this
this
is where
boat.
he's pissed that it's like just rich people in there. Which, yeah, I get it, but also like, what do you want? Just like, we're just gonna let anyone in? Like, I don't. You have
Right.
to pay for it somehow. This doesn't just get magically
Or
made.
it
Like this
has
wouldn't.
to be paid for, and,
And-
we can't just make an infinite number of them.
Yeah,
I didn't. Right, that was the thing. Is like, were they trying to portray the sort of like the other guy as a bad guy? Because he was like, "Where do you think the money for this came from?" Like,
Well, he
Yeah.
says that right up.
Well,
It's
yes,
like,
he says that.
This doesn't get paid for unless a bunch of rich people get on
Well,
it, right?
but that's when Adrian and the President's Daughter are like, "Wait a minute, you sold tickets to this? How do you think the selection? Of course, like how would this have happened otherwise?" That's what
Yeah.
he
Oh,
says.
shit.
He's like, and not to mention they're like, we have doctors, we have people who are specialists in this and that.
right.
Like, I'm sorry, but
Just
of
because
course
you're
those
rich
people are going to come
doesn't mean
first.
you're de facto bad, right?
So
but $1 billion
he's
per
pissed
ticket
about
is
that.
pretty outrageous. I mean,
Yeah, that's
but-
a little insane. Like I feel like we'd have like 2 tickets on that.
I thought we were gonna
like,
see
that wouldn't.
as the ships are getting covered in water, we see Elon Musk shooting to space to
Well-
be like, "See you
Certainly.
suckers
Yeah.
Bye,
later."
bitches. This is when Adrian's friend, the Indian astrophysics.
yeah, the guy
Whatever
who
he is.
originally figured all this out.
He's the main guy, right? He's the one who,
Yeah.
figured all this out. He calls him to be like, "Yo, there's a tidal wave coming straight for me." Him and his family were walking like from India to China or something. They were like
Yeah, some insane waiting
the
to get
road.
picked up thing.
with a bunch of people, and he takes his last 5 minutes of life to say, I never got picked up." And then, it's like,
Yo, you told me you was gonna pick me
But-
up, but
Hey,
you
dog.
never did.
"You didn't do
Yeah.
this." And he's like, "Bye."
I know you
And
said you
then
was gonna
him-
do this, but
Which, first of all, like, ouch. Sorry, I thought my friend was getting picked up. Didn't know. That's a big
Right,
burn to
not
be like,
in my
fuck
direct
you real
control.
quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also, how is there still cell service. How are we still calling people at this point?
Maybe it's a satellite phone.
Satellites,
Is it?
yeah.
Is it?
That's
Are we
easy.
still just hoping
Easy
that?
answer.
It didn't look like a satellite phone,
Okay,
but sure.
we'll say that. Sure.
Yeah.
Wait, picture number 9. I think it's them fighting that you showed, right?
Yeah. But the thing is, so this is the guy who originally determined the neutrinos were interacting with physical matter. He says doomsday is coming. Then, even with his last breath, he tells them of a tsunami wave coming from a different direction that's going to get to China way sooner than they
Faster.
anticipated.
And it's going to be there in...
Instead of 2
2
hours,
minutes.
it's
2
28
minutes.
minutes.
Is it 28? Well, what he says something is like in 2 minutes.
It's they have to recalculate a whole bunch of stuff, and it ends up being 28 minutes.
Okay.
So this guy predicted the end of the world and told everybody.
Yeah,
This
he
guy
did
then
everything.
informs them of a wave they were unaware of to make sure that they prepare the boats in time, and yet he still is destroyed by
And
this
it's
tidal wave.
him and his wife and his kid. Like, it's not just him either. So then you get to watch them all die, which is another, like, great, thanks for this lovely scene.
Cool.
So then everyone's freaking out. They want to get on the boats. Jackson and his family are sneaking on the boat, which why would no one be, like, covering the side of the, I don't know, like, weird tunnels on the boat? Nobody's watching.
I have an actual picture of this guy getting hit by a wave. Just one
Let's see
moment
it.
here.
Can we bring it up?
Are you serious right now?
Screen
Yeah.
1. Can we get a high res,
hold on.
please? 4K.
Here we go. Share.
That's basically what it looks
That
like.
is pretty much
Except
what
he's
happened.
staring it down.
He's a little sadder in that situation. So everyone wants to get in the boat. They're sneaking on. The Russian woman sees her dog. Okay, imagine if I was...
I didn't understand this
100
part. I got
I'm
confused
100
here.
feet up on the boat, and my dog is with some other people down in the crowd. And she whistles for the dog. The dog, like, I don't know, parkours up the
Yeah,
boat, like,
yeah.
across a rope.
Trapeze
and all this
across.
crazy shit.
Yeah.
And comes to her, and she last minute sneaks in and then, like, flicks off the Russian guy who didn't take her with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like,
Hold on. I have to. Can this focus on this?
What?
if you just press the
Back up.
focus. Okay.
of the middle finger.
Yep.
Is that
there it is. I
that's
see it.
I see.
Yeah.
The flick off.
Looks like there's an extra finger, but maybe
But
you
when
got it
she
right.
does it, and the doors
It like
in her like
almost takes her
"Tukum,"
hand
it
off.
almost
Yeah.
rips her arm right off. Scared me a little bit
I
there.
had to draw the middle finger in my notes.
You had to.
Good.
So then there's a bunch of people who did buy tickets who are like trapped outside because they're like, this extra wave's coming. They're freaking out and this.
Well,
and
there's an
that.
extra wave, and one of the ships isn't operational, right? Because it got
Well,
crushed or something.
Yeah. So then
So there's
Adrian gives
100,000 people trying to get on these
Which, first
remaining
of all,
ships.
there is not that much chaos compared to what the fuck it would actually be.
Oh yeah,
It would
no,
be
this
so
would-
insane. Instead, they're kind of like, well, what about
Well, they do this.
us? Is
They do,
about...
they run and they run and they run right up to the edge of like the docking thing, and then they all collectively stop, and I'm like, no way.
No,
first
it would
half
be
of those
everybody
people
would get shoved
Would
off.
go over.
Well,
Dead
yeah.
immediately.
Instead,
Yeah, he's like,
they
whoa,
just
whoa, whoa.
show
They just- they
onesie
show-
twosie, but they show onesie
They
twosie
keep
falling off,
showing
and they
it.
just keep showing the whole time. People are getting shoved off.
Which is semi-realistic because
But
you
it
would
would
just
be
get bumped
way
and
more
Right.
fall
insane.
off.
Every time they
People-
cut back, more people are falling.
People
Yeah.
would be insane, though. But Adrian gives like a 5-minute speech. First of all, we are limited on time here. Okay, there is a wave coming to kill us all. And Adrian gives a speech about letting people on the boat and do we want to start our new like humanity this way and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And like, I don't even know. All these other
Boring.
presidents are like, I think I can speak for Italy. And he would say yes, too.
Right.
I don't think you can speak for Italy. He's not here. So I don't know
He's
why you're even
dead.
saying that. He stayed back.
And Italy's
He's gone.
underwater.
Why did that even need to be said?
Like-
But,
Right.
I would just
It was
wanted the
so
president
weird.
from Independence Day. I wanted that speech on the jet plane.
Right.
Instead, we get this. I don't even know
And
what
then,
this was.
What's his name? Cousin Randy flies the ship up into the laser beam.
Yeah.
They end up
This
opening
is
the
me.
gates for everyone to run on.
Everybody gets
The-
on. Yeah.
The Russian guy was like under where the little thing came down. And
That's
so
right.
last
He fell,
minute,
sort of.
yeah, when it's going up, he like Russian
Yeets his
wrestler
kid.
throws
Yeah.
his kid up. And his
Yes.
kid's up there, and then he falls down, and it's like if someone GoPro'd his face while falling. He's like, "Ah!" for like 2 minutes, which is weird. Which I was like, am I supposed to be sad? I don't.
Was he
Yeah,
a
It
good
was
guy,
weird.
bad guy? I don't
It
know.
was weird
Not
again.
clear.
The only note I have for this part of the movie is I noted down that all the screens in the ship's control room were a weird aspect ratio.
Thanks.
Thanks
Good to
for
know.
contributing. Jackson and the family are below the animal cages. So when they're opening and closing the gates, while all this was happening, the gears are like where they are.
my God, I
and
love this
shit is like
comment.
about to crush them.
Yeah.
I love this comment from Joe. Anyone who's been to a concert knows everyone's just gonna die.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. That's
You would just get pushed off, and the last row of people would
if it can
get on.
if it can happen
Yeah.
at concerts, it would happen in a heartbeat in
Yeah.
this situation.
Yeah.
So when the gears for like the doors opening and closing happening, the Jackson and his family, it's like about to crush them and stuff, so they have to move around. So the guy who helped get them on the boat.
Why does this look like it's from like a
This
stage play? Zoom out. Why is he like? And that's when I saved the boat from
Right.
China.
The way it's lit in the back
Right.
back here is like
It's very weird.
it's like this
They
is
all
the
have
back of the
they're like your
set.
flashlights will be the
jackhammer.
lighting.
He's really like, I'm a jackhammering boy.
Right?
Like-
Oh my gosh. So they're sneaking
Oh,
on.
Gordon, he's still alive.
So wait,
There he
when
is.
so when they go, that one guy who's up there, he falls on the gears, and his foot in the movie is like do
Oh,
do
man.
do through the gear, which you're like oh my
multiple
god, like
Ain't nothing left for
It
that
is-
thing.
Years.
It's
Yeah.
gone.
These are giant. These are giant
These are like
hydraulic gears.
30 feet
A
by
human leg
like
would not be noticed by this hydraulic system.
Toast.
It wouldn't
Well,
even be.
do you know what
It would
happens
just
when a person
lubricate
falls
the
in?
system. It would
Gordon
move
falls in,
faster if
guys.
anything else. Yeah.
I have
This is the moment that Gordon falls in and he's gone.
I
Like
can't
there
get
is,
over this picture.
He's just kind of like to the
Yeah.
like he
Yeah. So how many times has Gordon flown a plane
Gordon
out
has
of a
saved everyone.
suddenly subterranean setting? 3
This
times.
is the last time we see Gordon right here.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like a Dateline.
And that was
And that
it.
was
That
the
was the
last
last
time.
Why
time.
did
they
Gordon
saw
go in
Gordon.
the gears?
Lightfoot.
So when Gordon falls and the other guy fall, also that drill or jackhammer, whatever it was, and his like extension cord falls.
Yeah, the cord gets
and
tied
it
up.
wraps around the gear because apparently a cord is too much for those gears.
Look, these aren't electric motors.
That
This is
wouldn't
they
happen.
say the word hydraulics. This is hydraulic system. I have seen hydraulic systems that are 1/50th the size of the gears that open and close this gigantic gate. And we turned it on when the pressure
You
relief
can't
was
stop
was
those
blocked
things.
off, and a 1-inch steel plate that was bolted in exploded off, and the bolts shot through a wall like bullets.
oh my god.
That happened in real. I saw that happen, and you're telling me that
IRL.
gears from a hydraulic system that are as big as my house can't deal
Yeah.
with an extension cord?
it tripped him up, man. Is there a child upstairs?
I don't know.
Do you want to check?
Well,
There's
there's
three children
technically.
upstairs.
I heard
Yeah.
someone making noise. All right, they need to shut the door because that giant wave's coming, and apparently you cannot control the ship or do anything
Yeah,
unless
they can't
the doors
do
are closed.
anything until the door is closed,
Who
which is
designed that?
ridiculous.
We can't even steer the goddamn thing until
Did
that
we
door's
mention that
closed.
the ships are boats? It's been revealed that
I don't
the
know.
ships
They're
are boats. They're
They kind
not
of look like
spaceships.
subs in a way, like a,
A little
submarine.
bit. Well, because I think they're designed to take a certain
To be
amount
able
of
to
beating,
go under a
right?
little bit.
Yeah.
But because the gears jam, they're like, we can't do anything. So this is when they check the cameras, which why wouldn't you have checked the cameras a while ago? They have cameras everywhere.
Oh yeah,
And they-
this got ridiculous. We're like, every time they go to cameras, it's just a dude with a GoPro in front of his face.
So they go to
Like-
check and they see the family down there like trying to hide and they're like, I bet it's this. But the part that drives me insane is the president's daughter sees that the one Chinese guy who hurt his leg, she was like,
Yeah.
oh, he's injured. The whole boat is gonna die. And
There's
you're worried about this
400,000
goddamn leg.
people on the boat. Yeah.
And she's like,
Yeah.
but he's injured. Oh, nobody like cut his leg off for all I care right now. Everyone will die
he
at
already
this case.
did.
I'm
He's
sorry.
gonna have to amputate
That's
it.
true. It's
We're not putting the
gonna
foot
work.
back on. I'm sorry.
So Adrian and some other guy and the president's daughter, I don't know her name, they rush to go
Tandy
try to
Newton.
help the family. Well, that's the
Yeah.
other thing. He's like, wait a minute, I think I know these kids. I met them in Yellowstone. We don't have time. We don't have time for
Who
this shit.
cares?
It doesn't
Right.
matter. Go
Also,
solve the problem.
Like, where are the personnel on this boat? If
I
a
don't
boat
know.
has 100,000 passengers, it's got to have like
A ton of people.
10,000 workers at least.
Right?
I would think.
Maybe they're hoping people just kind of like do
Maybe
their own thing.
5,000.
I don't
And like,
know.
where are the hydraulic guys? On
Nobody
break?
seems to know.
Yeah.
They're like taking
Smoke
lunch.
break.
So
They're
they go to try to
unionized,
figure it
that's
out.
what it is.
And
They're
while
on
this
smoke break.
happens, the first wave comes. And they're like, brace yourself. That door isn't closed. That door isn't closed at all. And it comes in like the effing
They
Titanic.
just
Like,
drown a bunch of people on the bottom of that boat. It's unreal how often they just kill a bunch of people in this movie.
everyone who was like, thank God you opened the door for me, dead. They're
Yeah.
gone.
Everybody who got on is dead.
Wiped clean. They
Yeah.
are. So
Yeah.
that happened. And then they're like, don't worry, the ship's going to seal itself one room at a time, which is right where the family is, of course. That's where Jackson is.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
So
yeah.
all the little rooms start going up, and it's like, in the end, it's like one kid by itself, the Russian lady, and the rest of the
I can't
family.
remember, yeah.
And they get to where the one kid is, so they help her, and then they're like, let's talk to him on intercom, which is like, why wouldn't you have done that from the bridge or whatever?
Yeah.
So then, I'm trying to think here of what the heck is happening.
This
Air Force
this
One comes
section
down in the
goes on
tidal wave.
Forever. That's
This
like
is
a half an
insane.
hour of this whole gearbox
Right?
and waves and
With that wave, Air Force One comes, and it hits the
Really?
ship, and it breaks off something. This ship is breaking left and right. Like, they did not make it to be hit by anything.
which is
And-
yeah, right? Which is weird. And I mean, I know we're
I
not
feel like-
supposed to argue physics and logistics, but like if it's a boat, wouldn't you just build it so that it lifts directly up if you're anticipating a
You would think.
worldwide flood? Instead, they position these boats, and this wave comes down this valley like a goddamn like chute of water, and it just slams into them.
It smashes
Whereas-
them.
Wouldn't you just build the boats so that they go directly up? I don't understand.
So, like, the tidal wave's still coming. There's shit in the... Like, there's rocks and crap that are going to be in the wave. They acted like, yeah, it can
Oh, yeah.
float.
It's
Of
full
course there's going to be
buildings,
crap hitting. Yeah.
right?
Like, and not to mention, they're in the mountains. It's going to be like chunks of mountains right now coming at us.
yeah.
And they just keep saying, we need to stop the bleeding on this goddamn leg. Nobody cares about the leg.
Yeah.
Stop trying
Sorry.
to fix the leg.
I'm
We
sorry.
don't need to save the leg. I'm sorry. You are not the concern right now.
I understand your leg hurts.
So this is where the captain says, we're heading right for Mount Everest, guys. And if we
This
don't
was
start the
weird.
engines, we're not going to survive the impact. What?
He lays it out straight.
He
We're
just
gonna
says
hit
it.
Mount Everest, and if the engines don't start, well, the ship's gonna sink. So
But
There
you're,
Take
you
it or
go.
leave it. Yeah, you were
you're
left with
telling
a.
me the ship wasn't designed to, like, hit anything?
That's
like,
the thing. It's like this is a doomsday ship. I would expect it to be like quadruple hulled, right? Like it's just
look,
this
Like,
thing
let's
ought to be able
bumper
to be.
car
ba-
this
it's
bitch
an
or
arm.
something.
Yeah,
the ship is heading towards Mount Everest. If it hits Mount Everest, it will sink.
It's
If we
that
can't turn
simple.
on the engines, we will hit Mount Everest. We can't turn on the engines
dead.
until the gate closes. The gate can't close because there's a wire wrapped
There's
around
an
the gears.
extension.
There's a
cord, somebody
small
left.
hydraulic
Sorry.
hose from a pancake air compressor wrapped
So-
around it.
So this is when the people, Adrian and some of the others, are calling into the family, and they're like, something's stuck in the gear. Can you guys get it out? And the worker says, there's no way someone can have that much air to get to it. It would be a suicide mission. We're all going to die. Either, like, what is no one getting about this situation? So Jackson Curtis?
Pollock.
That's
Jackson
what I was
Pollock.
going to say at first.
Who cares that it's a suicide mission? It's the freaking end of the world.
It's the end of the world, and everybody's going to die if we don't close this stupid thing. So
dang it.
he says he'll go do it. But before he goes to try to, like,
His
solve...
stupid ass son comes with
His
him.
kid is, like, talking with them. We don't have time for a pep talk with the ex-wife.
We're
with the
way
kid.
past the time
We
limit at this
gotta
point.
go. People are literally Titanic dying upstairs. The wave is just flowing in
Yeah.
and everyone's dead. And
Well, the Russian girlfriend died.
she died too.
Yeah.
That's right. She died
The
because
giraffe
water
was
filled
standing
up.
on the grate, so she couldn't get it to come up. Like,
It was
unfortunately, it was totally fine up above there, but she couldn't lift the grate because there was a gorilla and
Yeah.
a
I
giraffe
assumed the
on top.
giraffe
Yeah.
died too, right? That water just keeps
No,
going.
they were
up.
fine. They were
It
because
seemed
they were
like
up
it
above.
Stopped then,
The
which
giraffe
was like,
actually
really?
prevented her from living.
Well,
yeah.
that's
But
karma, I
then,
guess.
so he goes underwater. He's looking at the gear. He finds a wrench in the gears. He's trying that.
It's the
and then-
jackhammer from that stage
Yeah.
play photo that he's
Yeah, let me go
holding.
back to that. Let
But
me.
He drops
This
the
is where-
jackhammer and
This is where on the bridge,
I
or
gotta,
whatever, they
get
go.
back to
They go.
that.
Let's check the
Find that
camera.
jackhammer photo.
And the camera they check from the bridge is a
it's
camera
just
that
his
is
face.
it's in the gear.
It's right
like
in
if
his
someone put a
face.
camera where the jackhammer was.
Right.
Here we
and they
go.
were like,
it was
"Oh."
this one, right?
No.
Stop it! Stop. So the camera
There's a
they also have.
jackhammer in the gears. And we need
do
to.
do do do.
What's a cat song we can repurpose
We can
for
switch
this?
the.
Jellicle jackhammers do what jellicle jackhammers do. Oh, that's a,
They've been holding their breath for like
Look at
20
that
minutes at this
picture.
point.
why is he? This is like directly from the 2012 stage adaptation. This is
It
insane.
hasn't been like touched at all. It's like
right.
this is a
It's
picture
so-
of the set. This isn't like
Right.
a shot
That's
from the
what I'm
movie.
saying.
It's so good
The
because it's
only
like.
thing unbelievable is the fact that the one woman is not holding her flashlight in the right direction.
Yeah.
It's the way this guy's lit is like
Right.
flash
It is-
photography.
It's from the bottom up too. Yeah.
It's very much a director being like, the lights, we don't need lights. We'll use our flashlights. Like being
Right,
so excited.
Oh,
Oh,
I
man.
love that.
Eventually, him and his stupid kid follows him. Get the tools out. They get the extension cord. I think they bump into something and that kind of like
They're
pops
It's
shit
not
out.
even obvious. It's-
Whatever.
It was very clear that
I don't know.
they couldn't get it out, and it actually dislodged itself. Like they weren't really
Yeah.
doing anything.
So the
I
kid,
don't-
the kid swims back through, and then they think Jackson's dead, and he's like, "Dad," and crying. And then like 20 minutes later, he pops up. Where the hell was he for an hour?
Yeah. nobody knows.
Underwater.
Doesn't matter.
But
Taking a breather.
he shows up, and it's like, well, Gordon's out of the picture, so I guess
Yeah.
we know where this
Dad's
is heading.
moving back in.
Did you find
That's
Gordon
how
down there?
yeah. Damn. No, he was a pulp
Yeah.
in the water.
Shit.
A fine pulp.
So they do hit Everest, and like shit kind of smashes the
That was so
windshield,
dumb,
I
though.
guess. Which
Yeah.
also, what is the glass on this? Like the same as a car? Like,
I think
I
it's a
assume
little
it's
cracked. It's the
hundreds
bridge.
of
it
feet
should be so
thick.
much better. But anyway, they end up turning around in time, so they're good to go.
Yeah.
Then we cut to like, I guess
27
day
days later.
27. That's when they're like, we're gonna finally open
right.
these decks for you guys.
Well, it says year 0, month 1.
Right.
Day
they
27.
reset the timeline.
but are we gonna pretend
but
nothing's
when did they
happened?
start the time? Like, was it right from when we saw them? You know,
Now
was it
you're
Everest
now
Day?
you're
or-
really nitpicking. Come on.
But that's not even the
I
point.
assume
You're
it's
just gonna
from when
pretend,
Woody Harrelson's character died. That's when
right?
That was
right. After
That's time
Woody
0.
Harrelson, AWA.
We
Yeah.
mark it. We are gonna mark it. Are they really gonna just pretend like life didn't exist before then. You can't just be like, let's start over.
Oh my God, I can't
Yeah,
believe I've
that's
been on this
exactly-
boat for 27 days.
That's what they. I don't
Yeah.
know, but they open the decks for everyone, and from what I can see, there are no railings. There's no safety
it
precaution.
just opens up.
It
Like
opens,
all
and you
over
can
the
like
place. It's weird.
you once again could just fall
Going
out.
back to
Yeah.
pushing people off the edge.
So
Yeah.
this is when they talk about Adrian is like, oh my gosh, from these graphs I have, which I'm not quite sure how like communicate. I guess satellites things are working, but Africa has actually like risen up. So they're like, I don't even think Africa flooded, which is good. And then the captain is like, that's why they call it the Cape of Good Hope, which is not why they call it that. But
Also,
okay.
Africa, the entirety of Africa is not the Cape of Good Hope.
Yeah, that's like one tiny.
Did it
and
float? Is that what it said?
it's like that. It like rose up so high that I
Huh.
don't something.
Well,
And-
it was all like, Everest isn't the highest point on Earth anymore.
It's
It's some mountain down in the
in-
southern part of
okay.
Africa because the way the plates shifted.
Sure.
But-
Well, and I
And it
guess
was
if
like,
you're-
actually, Africa didn't even get flooded.
But at
if
the
your
same time,
plates
it's like,
are
did anybody tell Africa about this flood? I feel like we didn't
probably
see
not.
any.
if your
No.
plates are freewheeling and dealing, I guess it could float theoretically on magma or whatever. My
Right.
question is, why did the Earth suddenly stop heating and going crazy?
Yeah, why was it like?
The neutrinos chilled. I
We're
don't
good.
know. It was a solar flare.
They
or
just
something.
chilled.
It's a solar
They
flare.
chilled.
They
So
chilled.
they're gonna
What
go
we're
to Cape
calling
of Good Hope,
neutrino chill.
Right.
though. Yeah,
The
I don't know,
ultimate
but-
chill.
Suddenly, as it began, it has ended.
it's done,
Yeah.
and they're all like, "Guess what? We're going to Cape of Good Hope, bitches."
Dad's
And
back.
so
Mom and Dad are getting back together.
I hope everyone who lives there is happy to see 400,000 new people.
We got
Right.
we got
Right.
3 big ass ships full of Europeans, and the only place we
Right.
got to go is Africa.
Whoa. Is this some sort of like veiled
Right.
political statement
All right.
about
I don't know. I
Oh,
just figured they would be like,
colonialism
"You
and-
can leave," is what they
Yeah.
would say ASAP.
My last note is, we'll take Africa from the Africans.
Oh no. Oh
That's
no.
what it was like, though. The way he was like, "We already got
They
it
weren't
set."
invited
I
on the
didn't even-
boats.
I
I didn't
didn't
see
even
any
think
Africans
about
on the
it.
boats.
I don't remember anyone
This-
calling Africa, but now you want to move in? I don't think so,
This
buddy.
is what I meant when I said this movie hasn't aged well. It's very like
gotcha.
there's stuff like that where you're like, what the fuck? Like, you didn't tell anybody in Africa this was happening, and now you're just like, well, lucky for us, it's still there. We'll see you guys in a bit.
We are here. It's us.
Thanks for
the
saving us a
modern
seat.
Dutch.
We'll be there in a moment.
That's
Oh
what-
man.
It was kind of, and then it just ends. Done. That's
Yep.
it.
That's it.
I'm guessing
It
Jackson
zooms out.
gets to move back in with the fam. Gordon's gone.
Damn. Sorry, sweetie, your new husband's
All right,
dead.
all right, all right.
Daddy's
Okay.
back.
I want to know, is this
Daddy's
movie,
home.
is this a good movie?
No.
No.
If this movie was
It's-
an hour and 50 minutes,
Sure.
would it be
Maybe,
worth watching?
Maybe.
Maybe. I don't.
I
As a
still
two-
wouldn't
it's
recommend
2
it, but
hours
you could
and
do
47
it. It's
minutes.
So fucking long.
As a
and
core
it's the same
premise, the core premise of this movie, which is like disaster porn, I'm just not into that genre, right? And there's tons of them. They've made There's San Andreas. There's all sorts of crazy, like the world's ending, and that's the premise. I'm not into that.
I think I'd rather watch The Rock save people than
Well-
watch
Probably.
John Cusack drive a limo around.
Well, it was
Maybe.
Gordon saving people. I
Maybe
mean,
we'll do that.
John
Let's
didn't much.
let's do San Andreas next week, and
I
just,
think that one is just the rock.
Yeah,
saving
we could.
people.
Yeah. I don't know. But like, okay, here, Board to Play says classic disaster, Dante's
Yeah.
Peak, Twister, Armageddon, and The Core.
The
I've
core.
only seen a few of those, but Twister and
Yeah.
Armageddon, I think I've seen. And they
Yeah.
work because of the characters, right? You have
Yeah.
an emotional connection to what's happening, and you can make fun of Armageddon because it's Michael Bay and whatever, but
I like Armageddon, though.
I like that movie too.
I think lots of people
I
did.
think most people do.
Yeah.
There's that weird scene with
Ben
Ben
Affleck?
Affleck, like
and like live Liv Tyler? Is
driving
that her
race
name?
cars on Liv Tyler's naked body at some point, I think.
Ken, that's
But,
not in the movie. No.
Well, I can dream. But my
I think
point
there's
is,
a scene.
did anybody give a rat's ass about any character in this movie?
No, because
No.
John Cusack being like, "Can I get back in with my family?" It was
He's
like, you're
phoning
kind
it
of a
in.
loser, and you're not.
Yeah.
Well, here's the
Yeah.
difference, right? The setting of a movie can be Armageddon, but it still has to be a movie about
Right.
characters. In this movie, the main character is the
character
Armageddon.
is the end of the world.
Yeah.
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 And nobody cares about that.
What is the core?
The core is where they have to drill down to the planet's core to like
remember that.
set off an atomic bomb down there, or something to fix its
I
rotation.
think I did see that.
They build this
Yeah.
like it's
Yeah.
it's like a drill subway train that drills down to the
Right.
core.
Right. All I remember from Armageddon is Steve Buscemi sacrificing himself on the meteor, I think.
I think that's what
Isn't
it was.
he on a machine gunner or some sort of drill or
Yeah,
something?
They're
but
using
it's
like a
like-
machine gun to do the
Aren't they
drilling
to try to like?
or some
I don't
insane
remember.
Something like that.
It's
Yeah.
probably been like 20 years since I saw
Yeah.
that.
I remember that movie because it was a big I think it was one of the earlier IMAX movies. Or was like, oh,
Probably
you
that would
gotta
make sense.
experience the sound and the this and that. Anyway,
Oh
this
my
movie
gosh.
sucks. I was bored the whole time.
Well, it's just
And
the
it's
same thing
way
over and over. They do the same thing in California that
They
they
do
do
it
in
3 times.
Yellowstone,
We
that they do in
call-
Las Vegas, that they, like it never.
We walked it
ends.
through 3 times and then 4 times if you count the ship. Like we have
Also,
to
I mean-
narrowly escape.
There's tons of things. Did they have enough food on the ship? Where are they getting this much food? Do they have enough workers? All of a sudden, they just let a bunch of other people on the ship. None of this makes sense.
Disaster can't be your main character.
Yeah.
It doesn't
yeah.
work.
It doesn't
That's it.
work.
Also, these ships were designed so poorly. The fact that like a rock coming in like smashes shit, and they're like, "Well, there goes the gear." You didn't expect crap to hit it.
Yeah.
This is the end of the world, and you were just hoping we needed like a kayak. I don't understand.
This should have just been like the book Seven Eves, and the ships were spaceships, and then
That would
that's the
make more
first part of the
sense.
movie, and the second part of the movie is them initially trying to set up civilization in space, and then the third part of the movie is
This is
them
too
coming
long
back to
already.
Earth 5,000 years later.
Do you remember in
It's called
Not really, but that's
Wall-E.
no. Well, there is.
And
This
it
is a
was
book called
great.
Seven Eves, and it is very good.
But
I would
what-
recommend that book actually.
what was the like the first D-list we did with the countries on wheels?
Mortal Engines.
Yes.
Boy, we
okay.
need
Also
to
a good
revisit
movie.
that.
Remember the
I-
hot air balloon
I
city
can't
though?
believe I didn't watch that movie, but I watched this movie to its entirety.
Mortal
Oh, you
Engines
need to
is
watch.
great.
That's like a good movie
I need to make
now
a
compared
YouTube
to.
formal apology, like
But-
crying.
Do you remember their hot
Hey,
air
I'm so
balloon
sorry.
city? They could have totally done that with everyone, been like, let's just hot air balloon it for a little while, and then we'll see what's good to go, and we can like land.
Till Woody
don't-
Harrelson's flaming cartwheeling skeleton.
I
Hits
guess
the
some of the
primary
bombs
balloon.
could have like,
Yeah.
but I don't know, like put some people on planes and shit while this is happening. What? Is...
I really think
I
we
don't
should
know.
watch San Andreas and just compare the two.
We need to
Well, we
compare and
can.
contrast.
What's the
All right.
runtime? Hold
It
on.
better not be 2
I'm not-
hours and
yeah,
47
I'm not
minutes.
watching
No.
that.
Yeah. What is the runtime?
I'm not
for
doing
that?
Put
this
this to
again.
bed right now.
This was about the same length, a little bit longer than
Oh, San Andreas,
downsizing.
2015. What's the runtime? Where is it?
What'd you say?
2 hours. God.
That's almost an
But
hour
that's-
less.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
better.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway,
All right.
don't
Do that.
don't watch this movie.
This was
Obviously.
not good.
I think let's wrap. That's perfect. We'll wrap. I'm going to wrap up the audio show right there. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in live. Thank you, all the listeners, for tuning into our audio show. And join us once again. Next week's a week off. Then we'll be back for our regularly scheduled
Yes,
episode of the
finally.
Date Night Dice podcast.
Jeez.
Back in action, back to normal, ready and raring to go. And we'll see you in the future for another D-list movie review, possibly San Andreas
Oh my god.
with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. But
Sounds
until
good.
next time, and we'll see you later.
Bye-bye.
All right. See you guys, everybody on Twitch, YouTube.
Thanks for watching.
Later.